You're watching the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
We got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Matthew Driscoll step on up to the head coaching gig at Kansas State. That was sneaky last night. Michael Jordan, Daytona 500 champ. I love how he steals the show. Forget about the guy that drove the car. Travis Hunter all over the place. The Titans unveil or leak out, or somebody leaked out, a new logo. Do you like it? And I'm assuming it's President's Day, and that's why we're going with Mount Rushmore.
Indeed.
Who would have known? If you didn't say that, I'm not sure I'd know it's President's Day. There we go. Are we in the bathroom with Austen Lane?
Nope. Sitting in the living room.
Oh, that's
or like dining room.
Hey, Abby, did you think that was a shower curtain?
It could have been a shower curtain. It could have been.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
Not too much, man. What's going on with you guys?
How are the Olympics this weekend? Man, your quad god messed it up.
Oh, yeah. He did really bad. Chloe Kim didn't get first. We can talk about that on Friday. Yeah, the U.S. is kind of struggling right now, man, in terms of medal count. Shout out to Team Norway for doing their thing. Watched the whole moguls thing live during the daytime. We can't share it, but by all means, go on Twitter and check it out because it's probably the craziest video you're ever going to see.
That is nuts. Is it always like that, or is this a different course?
No. Well, I mean, it's not like that. It's not like that where a guy goes off course and comes back in course, and then the other guy gets discombobulated in midair and lands backwards and finishes the race backwards like Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights. Like, no, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, my goodness, that hurts my knees. That event.
Mm-hmm.
That I'll tell you what though. That's what I always look at when you got the Olympics is what could become a little more mainstream that we don't just have to watch it every 4 years. And everybody's trying to put something on TV and find the next thing and yada, yada, yada. But I think I feel like a sport like that, Austen, as quick as it is, as kind of fun as the actual event looks to be, could be something that could play on a more regular basis on you name it. I mean, we're showing pickleball tournaments. Like, why wouldn't you show a thing like that if there are a lot of competitions across the world on a more regular basis?
No, it definitely probably could get to the mainstream a little more now that they changed the rules of the whole event as well. Johnny Mosley, who's a former American mogul skier, he kind of put the sport on the map because way back in the day, you weren't allowed to get inverted. So you couldn't do a flip off the jumps. And then Johnny Mosley invented the dinner roll, which is like he didn't quite like go upside down. It was like a 360, but he stayed like kind of like horizontal where it didn't count as a backflip. So then he started landing the dinner roll, and then that became soon enough where the committee's like, okay, well, it's close enough to going upside down. Let's just let him go upside down. So now they can do like inverted tricks and everything. But back in the day, it was just like 360s and things like that. But now they let him do some cooler stuff.
Yeah. I just think it's entertaining as heck, but it's got to be awful on your body. Like, what's Johnny Mosley doing now? Can he walk? I mean, it feels like it's just me and two blank screens right now, by the way. This is fantastic. I think we lost. Boom, just like that. That didn't even like go out. Semi, it just boom. There he is. He's back.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
I thought you got a phone call. Sometimes that happens on the phone. Like, seriously, how damaging to your knees is that sport? I mean, I know you're kind of got to be springy with it and everything else, but and there's probably a method and philosophy and all these practices, but gosh, it looks awful on the body.
Yeah, I mean, as someone as a kid and I didn't do it gracefully, but when I was skiing as a kid, I used to try moguls, and it's something I'll never quite comprehend or get because it's all about keeping your center of balance as you're going through those bumps and I don't know, just like the knee control, the stability, the balance control is unworldly for these athletes to compete in that. So I have no idea how they do it.
Yeah, you are our Olympics correspondent. We should have sent you to Italy, by the way. Maybe you could have trained over there. The one other thing about the moguls in particular, it feels like it's kind of what we saw yesterday. It's like the Daytona 500.
Mm-hmm.
Pedal to the metal and hold on tight. Like that's what it is. It's like there's no control. Just go. You're just going. And I just think that's the allure to it, right? It's like, I don't know if I'd want to do that, but God bless the guys that do it and do it well. It's pretty fun.
Well,
So,
and I'm much like the event yesterday.
I was going to hang with him. Well, throw your hands up in the air. It's okay, Hamby. President's Day. It's fine.
Everybody's off.
It's supposed to be 71 today, then snow Thursday here in Nebraska. You're in Nebraska? Who is that? Can you get? I can't. Why can't I? There's
Chad
too many
Schultz.
letters. Who is it?
Chad Schultz.
All right, Chad. What's up? 71, and you get 71 in February in Nebraska. That feels like balmy. That's going to be some kind of record, I would think. Pretty good. So we'll see if Austen can finish that thought. Maybe the Wi-Fi. His shot looks good, but Wi-Fi going out or something. You think it's on our end or his end, Hamby?
His.
Oh, really? That'll frustrate the hell out of him. Daytona 500, by the way. We just mentioned it. A little conversation there. What about Michael Jordan? Ending up in victory lane. You know, Jordan, obviously a big NASCAR guy all his life. Grew up around it and in North Carolina and a fan of it, and kind of mentioned it during the broadcast yesterday where him and his family would sit around and watch the Daytona 500 like he remembers that as a kid. And now a car owner with Denny Hamlin, owns 4 of them, had 4 of them in the race, and gets the win with Tyler Reddick. Reddick about, I think it's weird, I saw the odds anywhere from 28 to 1 to 40 to 1 odds to win the Daytona 500, and that seems about right. But he had a couple of cars pretty close to being up front and had a chance, and Reddick was able to win it. Some guys just win, Hamby. Michael Jordan just knows how to win. Kind of cool to see Michael Jordan in victory lane, I will say that. Like that part, and guys have been, listen, I've covered many a Daytona 500 and many a Joe Gibbs in victory lane Daytona 500. Talk about a guy who knows how to win. Super Bowls with the Redskins back then, now Commanders, and many a championship in NASCAR and big races and everything else. So I would say that, like, I don't know if the 500 was unbelievable from a casual standpoint.
Yeah,
Did you watch?
Are they? Is it one of those where they weren't really happy with Reddick winning because he's not a star, but then MJ almost made up for it?
I think it's an interesting deal. Like, I don't think, like, Stewart will think the story is Reddick winning or something like that. The story is Michael Jordan won, right? Yeah. I mean, that story that everybody's going to latch onto. Now, racing fans would say, hey, Reddick, and he has a chance to really compete this year. And there's stories like, hey, should have won more last year. And feels like this is his time. He's a good racer. He's not like this no-name guy. But to the casuals, he's kind of a no-name guy. You know, you're Googling Tyler Reddick. But the Michael Jordan part is big. You know, I think it's great for the sport. And Michael Jordan was front and center, and Stewart might jump on the show a little bit later and can explain it a little bit more. There are legalities and everything else that Michael Jordan was front and center in for NASCAR and helped get them to where they are right now after a stalemate, which I think, you know, the nuts and bolts of it is it basically will help the teams out and sustain like long-term success with some of these teams and maybe not have so much turnover and et cetera, et cetera. I will not do a good job explaining this. But the bottom line is he was one of the faces like that sued NASCAR and went to court and they won and settled. So they kind of won because they settled. So he's been a big topic this offseason in racing and then to go win. But like we do Let's Go Fishing, we talk about Michael Jordan all the time on the fishing trail.
Yeah.
You know, he wins like some of the big events. He enters, obviously, and has a whole team. And obviously, we know what he's done in basketball. Some guys just win. And I think it's a huge deal for NASCAR to get guys from outside the sport, guys that people know, involved in this way. They do a great job with the Daytona 500 and getting everybody involved. Did you see Marshawn Lynch was there?
Yeah.
And I saw John Gruden there, so from the NFL world, but obviously you got musicians there and entertainment people. I mean, they make it a big spectacle, do a great job with it. But then what? Well, these are the guys that can help carry the sport, showcase to new fans. Again, from Joe Gibbs to Randy Moss was involved more in the truck series. You've got actors that have driven cars. I mean, all this stuff. This is not new, but it's Michael Jordan. I mean, Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan. So anytime Michael Jordan does much, especially because he's such a private guy. Like, he's not in the limelight all the time. And I thought that might change a little bit if he had joined NBC. Well, then he kind of reneged on the NBC thing that he had planned with the NBA and kind of being a regular, I think. So what a win for NASCAR. So what a win for Fox yesterday. They didn't have to pay whatever NBC had to pay to get Michael Jordan to do an interview.
What was that Tirico paid?
They said, Tirico didn't pay it, but NBC, people were saying it was $80 million. I don't think that was the reality of it.
Wow.
But that was what the deal was worth, and I can't imagine they paid him the whole deal if he pulled out of the deal.
Right.
So, yeah, I think Mr. Hugo says it. Not a huge NASCAR fan, but I watched it and thought it was entertaining. Yeah, I thought it was an entertaining race. I mean, they do a great job building the drama. I don't think it was going to go down as one of the best races of all time. I had a 20-car wreck before the finish of Stage 2. The finish was entertaining. Didn't know what was going on. I thought it was terrific driving by Tyler Reddick at the end. Maybe that is like normal driving in NASCAR. Yeah. I thought it was fantastic driving because you can bump the lead guy out of the way and win. There's that method. You can also say, all right, I'm just not going to be able to pass him. I thought he did such a good job of driving. Like if it's Chase Elliott or if it's Jimmy Johnson back in the day or if it's one of these big names, I think people are really lauding the driving effort on the last lap. I think because it's Tyler Reddick, they're like not as crazy about it. It's almost like if Patrick Mahomes makes a great play or if Trevor Lawrence makes a great play. It's kind of in that same ilk. But
it seemed like he was moving and shaking
Well, he had the better car, and then right at the end, I mean, to get around Chase Elliott, who's one of the best in the sport, I thought to go up high and then come back down low before he could block, because what you usually will try to get is a block there. And look at me talking NASCAR.
Yeah,
and
I'm wondering if people are blaming Elliott. Like, are they like, hey, you didn't do enough?
I don't know. I don't know if he had time. That's why I think it was that good of a move. Now, maybe, again, some NASCAR people might think differently, and maybe that's good because people will talk about it like that. But it looked, all of a sudden, it didn't look like that dude had a chance in the 45 car to catch Chase Elliott.
Right.
For a moment on the stretch, you're like, oh, he's not going to catch him. He doesn't have a good enough draft. He doesn't have a line behind him, all that stuff that you usually need to get a good push. And then you're like, holy cow, this dude's car is gaining. Like, he's just got a better car right now. But I think it was so fast, the move up and down the track, that I don't even think Chase Elliott could attempt to block, or he would have wrecked them both. And I think that's the decision he had to make. There was a little contact there right at the end. And then, of course, more contact as Chase Elliott ended up getting loose. So I thought that was good stuff to finish off the Daytona 500. And, not the most popular of champions, but I think that's so overrated, man. Like, if Chase Elliott wins, more popular driver and more name people know. Like, does it matter? Like, what are we doing? We all turn the TV on now next week? We're talking NASCAR for the next 3 days here on the Brent and Austen show? They're doing that on ESPN? Like, I don't really know if – I don't really think that's a big part of it. I think the fact that Michael Jordan ends up in victory lane is people now talk about. I guarantee you, I don't know, but on Get Up this morning or on First Take or on wherever, they had to mention Michael Jordan in victory lane. I would think, right? Catches your attention, I would imagine, Austen Lane, right? And my guess is you didn't watch a lap of the race?
Nope. I actually watched the last 70 laps of the race when I was driving to Orlando because I was stuck in the Daytona traffic from that race, so I had time to watch it.
You were living it. You were living it.
Yeah. Real quick heads up. I think there might be somebody else is in Ninja or something because it keeps booting me to them, but I don't know. That's way above my pay grade. It's fine right now. With the race, I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Daytona 500, just had some time yesterday, but I feel like I could just watch the last lap and get a good idea what's going to happen because you invest yourself for how many laps it is, whatever, 200 something, and then the last lap is just complete chaos. Like, you get emotionally invested into these racers, can Bubba Wallace do it and everything, and then all of a sudden the last lap is just chaos, and some guy that didn't get talked about the entire race ends up winning it.
Yeah, that's usually what happens at Daytona. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, why even watch the whole race? Just watch the last lap because that's when it all goes down.
Yeah, it's a little bit like an NBA game in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like get there for the fourth quarter. Yeah, I get it. Now, you're also wondering if you're going to get the big one and, like, how big the big one's going to be. And I think that's what people are waiting for. And sometimes that happens a little early. There was a 20 car crash, that took some folks out earlier in the race. But I get what you're saying. And, I don't think leading the last lap at Daytona is that's the longest lap in the world. It already is. I mean, it's like 2.5 miles. But it's hard. It's hard to hold it off because you're going to – I don't know where you really want to be. Might be a good story for next year. Like, where do you really want to be on the last lap at Daytona? Probably like
12th place.
I was going to say maybe like
place,
8th,
I think
7th or 8th. That's what I'm kind of wondering. But for you, like not a NASCAR fan, obviously, I get it. Not going to pay attention to it too much. Does the Michael Jordan thing do anything for you?
Truth be told, not really, because like he did the same thing with motorcycle racing back in the day. We went to go watch him at Elkhart Lake a couple of times when he was like, he had like a motorcycle racing team. And like, obviously NASCAR is a lot more bigger than like crotch rockets and speed bikes and everything. But I mean, it might bring new eyes and everything. But for me, it doesn't really do that much, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's cool seeing him. Like, it was cool seeing him during the race and, being interviewed and everything. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't want to make me tune in and watch even more now. Like, I'm not going to tune in and watch next week.
Yeah, I wonder if that could change for some people, just like if he's dominant, like, or if, as a car owner, right? And he's there all the time and he's starting to win and, some of the things. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I'm just not sure how much a guy it can't hurt, right? Absolutely can't hurt. Like I said, I think some big shows today. Now, tomorrow it'll be gone maybe, but today they're going to talk about Michael Jordan and being a part of this thing and what a winner he is and everything else. And, to me, it actually like reinforced something else that I think is interesting in the world of sports right now. These guys are so big. They have their hands on a lot of different things. Now, Jordan retired for a long time. He's fishing. He's doing this. He's got investments, golf courses, whatever else it is, But you take a guy like Patrick Mahomes who's making a ton of money and he's always is invested, I think, in a soccer team and a minor league baseball team. And so there are other things. These are businessmen. They're star athletes, but they're also businessmen. And this like morph between sports, I think we saw it a lot. I think we're seeing it a little bit with the WNBA, but I think we've seen it with some of like the women's pro soccer teams as well, where you get some of the athletes from other sports involved in ownership of some of the soccer teams. And I guess there's just cross-pollination, Austen, in some of these sports that it just can't hurt to have some folks invested in. Like the NBA has reached into the bag of the musician or the artist or the actor, from Spike Lee to Jay-Z to Drake. I guess those things just don't hurt. And there's a lot of it in today's sports world.
No, I mean, it's only going to help. Like, anytime you add the brand and you add the name Michael Jordan to anything, like, it's going to drum up some type of interest, especially if you're winning. So, no, I mean, it's to me, it's only to have Michael Jordan. It's only good for the business of NASCAR to involve him, right? He's one of the greatest sports legends of all time. Obviously, he's got a giant fan base, more with an older crowd. But, I mean, any casual that you can get in to tune in to watch NASCAR because of Michael Jordan, the better. So I think it's only going to help.
It's great. We had Chandler did a show yesterday, and his buddy Gage was here last night. And so we were asking him a little bit. Like, they had never seen the Miracle on Ice. They didn't know much about it. And I'm like, hey, if you're a sports fan, you got to go watch. That's the one thing you got to go watch. You got to know that. You got to know that one. If you're going to get into, you don't even have to do what we do. I just think if you're a young person, I understand why you don't know a lot about it. I get it. But you should go. You should know that. You should know what that is. You should want to see that. It's a great documentary, movie, moment in time. It might be number one on the list to go back and watch, right, of anything else. And then it kind of got into, I think they brought up, like, having seen The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. And so, like, they kind of saw what that's all about. And, there's such an affinity for people your age and older, my age, whatever else, for Michael Jordan, right? I mean, there's just Michael's Michael. But for these kids, that ain't the case. If you're 25 years old or less, I don't know what Hamby feels, but it got brought up again. It's like, oh, yeah, LeBron's better. And it's just like people that generation is dug in on LeBron's better because they grew up with LeBron, and we're all like, yeah, whatever. We understand why you're saying that, but you're wrong. Right? That's what everybody will say. So it's just fascinating to me that even Michael Jordan being involved in the sport, like I asked this question, but he's 63 years old this week. And Michael Jordan isn't going to help the 22-year-old get into NASCAR very much because he doesn't resonate with that age group right now.
No, without a doubt. I mean, there's always going to be the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate. I mean, we've broke this down a couple times, but a new wrinkle that I think I can add to it is the fact that I think Michael Jordan is really the first. I mean, there was other athletes that had endorsements and marketing and publicity, but Michael Jordan was really the first professional athlete where there was a campaign for marketing him. So like we were all witnesses of that. Like we were all witnesses of commercials, obviously of shoes and celebrity endorsements and things like that. Like everyone was rocking Jordans. LeBron's effect is more of he's an athlete, which we've never really seen do the things that he's done before. To be that big, that athletic, to have this long of a career, it's two different categories. It's one category of marketing and just winning nonstop, winning championships. And then the other side with LeBron, it's being a freak of nature, being whatever, 6'8", 6'9", 200, and we'll call it 50, 60 pounds, running the point guard and having some of the craziest hops you've ever seen. So it's just, it's two sides of a same coin, but obviously it's a generational thing. You're always going to have that debate.
With a little basketball, did you watch the NBA All-Star Weekend?
Yeah, hang on. Should I hit the button, Hamby? Sorry, something's coming up on my screen from Ninja. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, so I did watch a little bit of it, yeah. Horrible. Get rid of it.
Okay, so that's an interesting thought. I didn't know the format. I didn't totally get lost the NBA All-Star.
I didn't know it was happening
weekend.
Until this morning.
And fair enough. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and I think there's plenty of that going on. I think there are plenty of people that don't really watch the Olympics right now. People like Austen, diehard, locked in. I think there are plenty of people that will Daytona 500 is a spectacle, whether you're a racing fan or not. Tune it on, check it out, all that stuff, fine. NBA, if you like it, if you watch it, if you wanted to check it out, you will. And then you're going to complain about the All-Star format and everything else that took place and blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's what it is. Like, that's fine. It did feel pretty quiet, and I wondered if it got a little quiet because NBC has the Olympics, and they just formed this relationship with the NBA on this Sunday night deal, and they couldn't really promote it. Like, they couldn't really push it because they're burying it themselves because of the Olympics,
No, without a doubt, man. Yeah, I mean, I was watching a lot of stuff, dude. I was watching wrestling. I was watching so many things. So with the NBA stuff, it's crazy because I don't get why they just don't go back to the East versus the West. Like, I don't understand what the issue was there. Like, okay, are there more All-Stars in the West? Cool. Well, then, like, sort them out. Like, I don't understand why we got to go young USA, old school USA, Team World. Like, just do East versus West. Like, they keep trying to reinvent themselves, and the problem is that nobody cares. So, like, if you go back to the skills challenge and everything, the 3-point contest was fine, right? It was cool to see Dame Lillard back and win it. Obviously, being a former Milwaukee Buck, I was rooting for him, so, like, that was cool. The dunk contest, going into it, I'd never heard of any of the guys that competed, let alone then the contest itself. One dude almost knocked himself out off of a missed dunk. One dude said he's going to jump from the free throw line and jumped 5 feet within the free throw line to win it. It was pointless. So, like, the whole dunk contest, they can get rid of that. And then I feel like the ambiance last night watching, like, the All-Star game, it was a glorified YMCA pickup session, and it wasn't that entertaining. Like, I get at the end, Anthony Edwards went off and everything for the team, Young USA, but there was really no appeal or no draw for me to keep watching it. I mean, I was kind of just went back and forth, honestly. It wasn't like NBA All-Star Weekend back in the day. You tuned in to watch the 3-point contest. You tuned in because you had some of the best dunkers doing their thing. Like, it's hard to justify tuning in to watch something if you've never heard of the athletes before. Now, with the Olympics, it's different, right? Because these are the top athletes in the world. I mean, these are supposed to be the top dunkers in the world because it didn't look like it.
Yeah, I bet people were really complaining about the dunk contest. I didn't watch it. I don't know. But here's my thought on this, Austen, and this is pretty much my instant thought when I was talking about it last night in the sports office, and I just have this curiosity. Because much like the Pro Bowl and everything else, we're trying to fix it. We're trying to find it right. You got this gold guard that's like, hey, it's not like it used to be. Same thing with the All-Star game. We have this history of Spud Webb to Dominique Wilkins to you name it. Even recent history, the people
Vince Carter.
I don't even know. Yeah, Vince Carter. Yes. Michael Jordan.
There you go.
By the way, right? It's a thing, and even recent history, like I said, 3-point shooting contest from Steph Curry to you name it. But to me, it's like a charity thing. Some charities have the staying power to really do it annually for a long time. But a lot of charities, if you really look into this, at least from what I know of what I've been told, a lot of times they'll make a run, like say it's a charity golf tournament or whatever. It might run for 15 or 20 years and then kind of fade into something else, right? It either becomes a little bit stale or heck, we've thought about this and worried about this a little bit with our own Dream 18. So that's what I liken this to. It's like, has it just run its course? It's a not fixable thing. Some of these all-star things, it's just not a thing anymore. Like we're just going to complain about it. We don't care about it. You can't make it different. You can't make it better. You can't elevate it. Instead, you just keep trying to and go backwards and just give up. Like do something else. Do something else. Like maybe it's what the NFL has done in just like the NFL honors. They've created a moment, right? They've created an award show. And I'm not telling you to do that right now, but the NBA weekend becomes an awards weekend instead of a 3-point shooting contest and a dunk contest and an all-star game that nobody gives a damn about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's run its course. I don't know if there's an answer here. We don't have to be overly critical about it. It's just not working anymore in some of these sports to do things the way it was done back in 1990, 1995, 2005, and maybe even 2015.
I mean, well, the only way it's going to change the NBA is if, the next generation that comes up goes back to the 90s and they take pride in it. Like there's no pride anymore for the All-Star game or for the dunk contest. Back when it was like Michael Jordan, even Vince Carter, like dunking, it was like, hey, I'm going to be the best dunker. Like that had to have that title. It really meant something.
Yeah.
So like you had guys who were so ego driven who wanted to compete in it because they wanted to showcase and say like, hey, I'm the best dunker in the NBA, because obviously people tune in to watch dunks. Like that's one of the draws of watching an NBA game. I get 3-pointers now and everything with Steph, but like it's still about the dunks. So back in the day, like you had the who's who of like the best dunkers in the world doing this. And then there's somewhere along the line, it started to be about load management and resting guys. And then that turned into, it can be pretty wearing and tear on the body. And then I play in the All-Star game as well. Oh, okay, I'm probably going to sit the dunk contest out. And then they just kind of lost their way a little bit. So I really think there is no going back, because I think with the new generations, it's all about load management and being healthy until the playoffs, even though I think science has shown now that if you keep that same energy, what happens in the playoffs when you blow out your Achilles or when you mess up your knee, because that's just happened more and more every single year. So maybe there's something to be said for that. I just think that the old school guys, the Jordans, the Vince Carters, there was almost like an unwritten rule that you want to promote and protect the game. And I think that's long and gone now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I understand what you're saying. I just think some things are, is this a word, Hammy? Unduplicatable?
Unduplicatable.
Did I just make it up? Pretty good. I think it sounds pretty good. Some things you can't duplicate, right? Like
it is a word.
Is it?
Yeah.
How about that? Sometimes, like you can't go get Michael Jordan jumping from the free throw line and meaning what it meant. Like you just time moves on.
You can get John Morant. Go with John Morant.
But are we going to be disappointed? Is he going to do anything that we haven't seen?
I mean, to see a guy that's under 6 feet tall, or right on 6 feet, probably jump from the free throw line, go between the legs, I think that's must-see TV. I would tune in and watch that.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's their last gasp, but he can't do it every year, and maybe you don't have John Morant in 3 years. You know what I mean? So it felt like you had somebody. I mean, dunking, now everybody dunks. I mean, over the last 25, 30 years, everybody's an unbelievable athlete. Everybody dunks. I mean, high school kids dunk. I mean, Grayson Allen was dunking as a sophomore and junior at Providence and like putting on a show doing it as a high school kid.
Sure.
So.
But there's something to be said, though, when you can turn on, Like, then this is the difference too. Like when Vince Carter, even when it was like Zach Levine or Zach Levine and Aaron Gordon, like they were doing things that you've never seen
Yeah.
before. You can now just watch an NBA game and see crazy dunks, probably even more crazier than you saw in the dunk contest. Like that's the difference. It's like the guys that are competing now, like, yeah, sure, they're good dunkers. Of course they're in the contest, but it's not like watching LeBron James go across the field. It's not like watching John Morant jump over somebody. Like, and they're capable of doing that still. Like that to me is a difference.
Yeah, I don't know the fix. It'll be interesting to see if they can. Hey, before we get you out of here, by the way, the Jags have just announced that they are re-signing DJ Dallas and Matt Dickerson. Dickerson, defensive lineman, and DJ Dallas. Nice. So a couple of moderate level signings.
Dickerson was huge for them, honestly.
Yeah, Dickerson did a nice job. You know, it was a good depth play, and I think as we talked about last week, I didn't bring up Dickerson's name, but I had him in my mind a little bit because I'm just like, how valuable is a guy like that you now know can hold it down, can make some plays. He's not going to be a Pro Bowler, but to have something steady there that you can lean on is important if you don't have anything dynamic too. I mean, so you don't want to be weak in that position. And what could that potentially say, a signing like that about a Mason Smith? I think if you want to read between the lines, like, is Mason Smith going to be a part of this thing going forward? Does he have to be a part of this thing? He'll be going into year number 3 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bigger story, at least that I want to get Austen talking about here for a moment before we let him get out of here down in Fight Camp in Orlando, as a lot of Travis Hunter stuff this week, weekend. Really, Travis Hunter, from social media to, I think, his wife face being tattooed on his chest to whatever else was out there. I don't know. Everybody loves talking about all these guys' personal lives. But the story on Friday night, Cameron Wolf reported that the Jags are going to go where I think everybody wants the Jags to go. And reportedly, they're going to prioritize that cornerback position and sprinkle in the wide receiver position. Now, again, that's a report from Cameron Wolf. I don't think we'll hear from the Jags on this topic for at least another couple of weeks, maybe around combine time. There's a chance that we could hear from the Jags, which would be, I guess, next week. I know they were thinking about having those guys available, or we might not hear from them until the new league year in the middle of March. But I guess we're not stunned by this. Like, it doesn't feel like this, oh my gosh, news. But Travis Hunter, again, being a little bit a part of the offseason conversation, no surprise, whether it's off the field or on the field.
No, it's no surprise. I mean, it's crazy how we make a video on Wednesday and post it about Travis Hunter and where he's playing, and then Cameron Wolf somehow gets the same information, then he posts it, and then obviously it's whatever. I think that was Friday or Thursday, and he's doing big time numbers, and we're doing like 2,000. It is what it is. What are you gonna do, man? It's the power of the algorithm. But no, I mean, it's not a surprise, right? Like, everyone's talking about this. Everyone's murmuring, but like, that's probably what it's going to be, because that's the only logical thing you can have. Like, you're not going to run 4 wide at wide receiver. So there's got to be an odd man out sometimes. And with the emergence of Parker Washington, assuming you're going to keep Brian Thomas Jr., and obviously you just paid Jacoby Myers, like, there's only so many mouths to feed. Not to say that Travis Hunter won't get fed on offense, because like Cameron Wolf said, there's going to be some packages which we all expect. So yeah, I mean, he's kind of just breaking news that we all already expected here in Jacksonville. So it's nothing crazy. It's just, the NFL season's done now. We got to find things to talk about. More power to Cameron Wolf. And then the whole tattoo thing. I mean, hey, dude, best of luck to you on that one. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's wild.
That is pretty wild.
I'm just saying, that's wild. Like, names are one thing.
That's committed. That's committed.
Portraits?
That is committed.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah, Z Fortner says, I thought we knew this already. Cohen kind of touched on. Not sure why it was news. We would agree. I think even maybe more than Cohen touched on it, I think it was Gladstone that actually was pretty obvious about it in his
we got more free agents
post-game, right?
In the cornerback room, is what he said, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, it's not a big surprise, but it got out there because I think it might have been on their Insider show or something like that. That's a pretty popular show. So, and then I think it coincided with the idea of everything else that was going on with Travis Hunter because, it's pretty wild. I said this last night. It's almost like a curvy trajectory so far for Travis Hunter in the NFL. It was all this hype. It was trade up for him. It was like, wow, the buzz, cool, great stuff. Everybody gets excited for it. And we know he's a star, and this is good for Jacksonville, brings the juice. I like it. I still like it, by the way. I'm not going to get away from that. And, okay, what's he going to do? Is he going to play both sides? Yeah, he's going to play both sides. How much is he going to go play both sides? All this stuff. First half, all right, why is he not doing enough? There's a little discourse on that. Then he has the big game against the Rams, even in a losing effort, and now we get excited about it. Then he gets hurt. Boom. And then it was done. Like, he got hurt, and it was done. The Jags got good, like really good. Travis Hunter wasn't playing. And quite frankly, by the time December 15th rolled around, you forgot Travis Hunter was on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Which is crazy. And then, of course, we knew it would surface again coming up in the offseason. The good news here is it looks like he's moving around pretty good. I think most importantly, getting healthy and seems to be on track in that department. But I think this weekend was also a reminder that when he does something on social media, when he does something in general, it's a big story. And it's funny how a guy that looks pretty committed to his family life and pretty happy and pretty low key and all this stuff in today's world will actually get criticized to some degree. And I thought somebody had a good response. I don't really know what it was. It was like, I don't know who it was. It just said, the tweet was like, funny how like he's getting criticized for XYZ. Meanwhile, it could be Stephon Diggs situation, you know?
Good grief.
It's like, hey, maybe we should applaud the young man for having his life in order at 22, 23 years old.
Seriously.
And just doing his thing, you know? I mean, which I kind of agreed with. But he's such a big name that there's always going to be discourse no matter what for him.
I've spoken this before a little bit, and I'll speak on it one more time. The only story I'm concerned with in this offseason concerning Travis Hunter, we kind of all get in terms of where he's going to be playing, what side of the ball more than ever, that's fine. But to me, if you're a Jaguars fan and you want to watch his story, that's probably going to be of significant importance. And I saw this in the chat a little bit. Watch to see how much weight he's gained in the offseason and when he comes into training camp. That's going to be a big story. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, I thought there were two parts to your story. I didn't know you were going that. The weight, interesting. I get it. You also had mentioned how's he going to handle the news of this. That one we won't be able to see as clearly, right?
Yeah,
we won't know that one. So
yeah,
but it is still going to be a story. And again, if things go well, that's easy. If things don't go well, we might get the truth or not even the truth that comes out of there. That there's stuff going on, blah blah blah. That's what happens in general. But yeah, I think those are the two stories to watch. Is how does he take this, which I think is an easier one to me. Again, if I'm in that spot, if I'm Gladstone, Cohen, Baselli, everybody else, I'm like, listen, man, you want to go? We want you to be the best corner in the National Football League, the best corner, and then we'll worry about you being the best wide receiver and the best corner at the same time. But let's go be the best corner right now, all pro next year. You're the best in the game. We think you are. Let's go do that, and then we're going to have some fun with you on offense too. I mean, is that satisfying enough for him? I don't know, but to me, it's an easy sell. Like. That's my sell. Boom. Case closed. Well,
and it's going to have to be satisfied because, there is no other choice, man. We took you where we took you, but we're not just going to cater because, you can play both positions. Right now we're pretty good at wide receiver. You saw it. You can probably only add to it, but we need you on defense. That is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think there's any chance, by the way, that they put him back at the punt return position?
Maybe. Once again, I think it comes down to if he gains any weight in the offseason.
Yeah. And by the way, when you say weight, I know this is a topic for you, and I get it. We've talked about this one too. How much are we talking 10, 12 pounds is enough? I mean, that's a lot of weight, by the way, 10, 12 pounds when you're this, he's ripped, at whatever size he is. So he doesn't have a lot of body fat is my point. So you're talking about adding muscle. That's a lot of muscle. Plus, he's coming off injury. Is that going to be harder for him to do because he's working rehab? Forget about working the body right now.
No, because obviously diet goes into it as well. And I'm not saying they got to add 20 pounds. I'm just saying hopefully there's 5, 10 pounds of muscle from his rookie year to his second season, because, and this is what people maybe not know, is when you talk about college, you're going to class. You have so many things going on in college where, you can put on weight and it's pretty easy, but because you're still growing as an individual, but at the same time, it's so hard to balance everything. Once you get to the league, you have a little more free time on your hands. right? Like, yeah, you have families and everything, but like you have all the resources that you need to, in terms of food preparation, in terms of weightlifting and everything in that stadium. So it's really not that hard if you're committed to put on 5-10 pounds of muscle. Now we've seen some guys, obviously like Josh Hines Allen, who you don't benefit by putting on all this weight. And we've seen Josh Hines Allen have 17 and a half sack season when he was a certain weight, and then they asked him to put on weight. With Travis Hunter, I think there's a thought in that building that he is a little undersized and it could lead to durability issues. So I think, if he comes in 5-10 pounds heavier, I think that's going to be good for everybody.
Yeah, I think so too. Before we let you go, we got a little President's Day game. We're going to have to know the presidents. Is that how this is going to work?
Yeah,
because I don't think we're going to be very good at this.
Real quick, gentlemen, if you could, obviously we're on number 47 now. If you could name as many just off the rip, if you had to write them down on a piece of paper, how many that you think you would get?
How many?
Yeah.
Probably like half of them.
Okay.
Maybe. I think half. I think I could probably do half.
How many could you get if you started at 1 and went in order? How many could you get?
Oh, no. It's like stops at George
Not many.
Washington.
Yeah. Not
I don't
too
know
many.
I don't know where the other guys are on the list. And I'm going to run into people like that. I'm going to misplace that invented like electricity instead of what's president.
Thomas Edison. All right.
Edison was not a president. Thomas Jefferson was.
Correct.
Okay, good. There we go. See,
All right.
good.
So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you a president. We got 5 of these things. I'll give you a quick, very quick multiple choice of the sport that they played while they were in college.
Oh.
Okay. So we had some athletic presidents through the years.
Okay.
I don't know if you would describe this first gentleman as athletic, because that first president is known for being extremely fat. We're going to start with Mr. William H. Taft.
Taft died in the tub?
No, he didn't die in the tub. Well, I
don't know.
But he had to have it.
He had an incident.
That's right. He had to have it extended. So here's what we got. Did he A, baseball, B, wrestling, C, golf, or D, rowing at Yale?
Rowing.
No.
Really?
Wrestling for Mr. Taft.
Really?
Okay.
I didn't know they were doing wrestling way back then.
Yeah, I guess so.
Don't say the presidents. I'm saying guess them just based off their picture too. That can be an extra point.
Okay. So I think that one would be the hardest one to say.
From an athletic standpoint, yeah.
Y'all know this guy here?
Eisenhower?
Nope.
Oh, wow. I was way off.
30 years after Eisenhower?
Who's that, Johnson?
Who's Johnson?
I don't know.
Henry Ford.
Oh, okay.
Ford at Michigan. A, football. B, tennis. C, cross country. Or D, basketball.
I think he's a football or basketball. I think he's a big guy. Look at the hands. Big hands.
He's a big guy.
Not tennis or
It's
cross
also
country.
could be a trick.
I don't know, because when what's his name was running, I remember that basketball being a big thing. I'm going to say football.
I'll say basketball.
Football is correct.
Yeah. Big dude.
Mm-hmm.
He was team MVP and captain at center and linebacker for their national championship teams in 1932 and 33. Go. All right. We got to get these next 3.
All right.
We got to hurry up a little bit.
That was Gerald Ford, by the way, not
All right,
Henry.
JFK. I don't know what JFK played.
JFK was, I think, more like the rower.
A, swimming, B, basketball, C, baseball, or soccer.
I'm going to
go
say swimming.
Swimming is correct. Also was on the sailing team.
That makes sense up there in New England.
All right, I'm going to give you one more.
Arthur's Vineyard.
Oh. We know who this is. Year.
Am I supposed to know who this is?
Yeah, I can. It's not coming to me.
Guys, this is FDR.
Okay,
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I thought your Eisenhower guess was a fun one earlier.
Yeah.
Eisenhower had the glasses. So FDR at Harvard, A, football, cheerleading, sailing, or badminton?
Cheerleading.
No, he's another big guy. I feel like football could be in it. Badminton is so weird that I don't know if that would be a sport. What was the other second guess?
Cheerleading, football, sailing, badminton.
I'm going to go with sailing.
FDR, like 3 or 4 other presidents, was a cheerleader
Yep. I'll take the point.
at one of the
Yeah.
Ivy Leagues.
There's like, there's a couple presidents that like were cheerleaders just
I
out
did
of
not
the
know
blue.
that.
These are more similar to the Midnight Yellers than the cheerleaders of today. I don't think FDR was out there doing no springs or up in the air, but
Nicely
Wild.
put.
yeah.
Wild. Good one. I like that.
No picture, but one last one. H.W. Bush.
Yeah. That's younger Bush or older Bush?
Older.
Older one.
I feel like baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
leaning baseball too.
I think both of them did.
Yeah.
He's
The
super
younger
into
one
baseball.
can zip it in there on those.
Yeah,
with the
well,
Rangers.
remember that, right?
Yeah.
So baseball. All right, Austin, you got to get going. Happy President's
Happy
Day.
President's Day, man. Yep.
Now I want to go back and do my research. You know what's crazy is like I've been watching so many like shows over the last couple of years now and trying to find, and I can't remember. I just watched a documentary about one of the presidents. I should remember which one. Garfield. They did a whole
Andrew
thing.
Garfield.
Yeah, that's like it was a good like 4-series or 4-episode thing on Garfield, but now I just like I actually thought when you put some of those portraits up, I'm like, is that the actor that played some of these guys, or is that the actual president? If you had asked me this about 20 years ago, I would have been way better at knowing the president part, because whether it's going to Disney more often and seeing the president's hall, or just being closer to social studies class and now not so removed.
I could get the first 10 and the last 10 for sure.
This is why Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader worked.
Yeah.
Like, you just forget this stuff. Like, I
Right.
have no idea.
You know who's on the $50 bill?
The $50 bill?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess this one. I'm just going to throw a name here and say Hamilton.
Who the hell is Hamilton?
I don't know.
He's not even a president.
You sure?
I'm talking about Alexander Hamilton.
You're not a
The
president?
play? No.
No, I don't think I'm just talking about that. Is you sure there's not a Hamilton named president?
No. The name president. You're all out of whack.
No, Alexander Hamilton was never a president.
No, of course not. It's
He
Grant.
was the Secretary of the Treasury. I know my Secretary of the Treasuries
Okay.
very well.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh, it's Grant.
Yeah.
You know, I would tell you this, by the way. I have probably seen more. This isn't going to be a flex of any kind,
Okay.
but I have probably seen more $100 bills in my life than $50 bills.
Okay.
Is a $50 bill more rare?
It's probably, yeah, probably.
I don't even know who's on the 100.
Franklin. Benjamin Franklin. A Benji.
There you go.
He's not a president. Hamilton is the 20. No, that's Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson's on the 20?
Yes. And what city is named after Andrew Jackson?
Is that ours?
Yes. Because Andrew Jackson was the first governor of Florida for a couple months before he was president. As soon as Florida was taken back under English control for the very first time from the Spanish.
Has every one of these presidents all been canceled by now based on their history?
I think Grant's still up there. I
Is
think
he still okay?
he's still out. Yeah.
He's still okay. So speaking of, like,
Abe Lincoln's not canceled, is he? On the Fiverr?
I have no idea.
Maybe.
You know, that's a good question. I didn't realize that, or maybe I just, again, I don't. We're talking along. Do you know who's on the coins too?
Jefferson is on there. So it's Abe on the penny. It's Jefferson on the nickel. I think it might be Eisenhower on the dime. That's a guess. And then JFK is the weird one. either the 50 cent or the dollar coin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's JFK.
Wow, look at you. That was impressive. I wouldn't even be able to make a guess. But I went.
FDR's on the dime. Dang it.
You carry cash with you like anymore at all?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. Like until we went and played golf the other day and I was going to tip. I was like, hey, I got to get some cash, just in case. Now they'll even take Venmo and stuff.
Sure.
But I just don't have cash on me. And so we went to we were in like Pensacola this weekend, and I had to stop and get gas, and so I had some cash left over, and I'm like, what the hell? Let's go buy a lottery ticket, buy a Powerball, or still can't believe the Mega Millions is $5 a pop now. Unbelievable.
Could have been $1.
$5. $5 to play the lottery? Like you got a 1 in a gazillion chance, and it's $5.
Yeah.
$2 is enough.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I played it anyway, but. I was going to get a scratch ticket, which I never do. I was like, let's have fun. What the hell? Let's go.
Get you a scratcher.
Yeah, get a scratch ticket. You know what I always think about is when I'm going through these like smaller places and towns, I feel like this is where I'm going to win.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Jacksonville's had really good luck recently.
Jacksonville has had good luck, but I'm like, going to the Circle K up here or buying one at Publix, like that's not where I'm going to win. I'm going to win in some podunk town in the southeast, right? Like somewhere. And I just have this feeling all the time, like that's where I want to buy my lottery ticket. It's the weirdest thing. But I also like, it would be so awesome to win a decent amount of money and go back and like change that person's life. Wouldn't that be unbelievable?
Yeah.
But anyway, so when you buy the lottery ticket stuff, you got to pay with cash. So we got like a Diet Coke and a coffee and bought a couple lottery tickets, had a $20 bill. It was like $15.07 it added up to.
Oh, brutal, 93 cents.
So, 93 cents? But they don't give you 93 cents anymore.
Oh, they didn't?
They give you 95 cents.
Oh.
Or 90. They don't give you pennies anymore.
There you go.
I did not know that. First experience with the no penny system. Like they're not making pennies anymore.
Right.
So they don't give you pennies. And no.
So what did you do with that 95 cents?
I just threw it in the center console. Like I said to Steph,
you might as well throw it away.
I said to Steph, I was like, I have not had change in my hand in so long.
Yeah.
And usually I'll put it in a thing. I didn't see like a little, like charity box or something like that where you could put the loose change in.
Yeah.
I didn't see it there, or maybe I just didn't do it. Maybe it was because it was 95 cents. I was pocketing it instead. But yeah, I had not experienced the whole penniless system yet.
I haven't either.
So and Steph was like, "Oh yeah, they don't give it to you." And I guess there's like a system they use. Like sometimes you'll get the short of that, and sometimes you get the benefit of it.
If it was 92 cents,
I think I would have.
You would have gone down to 90.
Yeah, I would have taken the hit.
You would have taken the hit. What would you have done?
Probably bitched about it.
Sued.
But seriously, like, what a world. Like, it's funny when you see the world change in front of your eyes. Like, there's no more pennies. Like, I heard this story. Cause isn't it like it costs 4 cents to make a penny?
Yeah.
And isn't there somebody else trying to do the same thing with the nickel? I think there was a deal like I thought it was someone in Florida. I think we had a story on Action News Jacks where they were trying to create the next mission was to stop the manufacturing of the nickel because the same deal costs like 12 cents to make a nickel or something. So it doesn't make sense. But anyway, first time. And I forgot to check my lottery tickets, so we might be rich, people.
Oh.
And we just don't know it yet. The Mega Millions was $363 million. I think Powerball was only like $120 million. So there you go. Penny Hardaway or Sharp Penny. They are not happy about the penny. They should be on the penny. Make your own penny.
They should.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, hey, this is a little bit different. And I think a lot of Jags fans might know the folks or that listen to the show. But there's a Jags fan, I think at least, this is how I know this person or have seen this person on Twitter, that created a new website for football fans. And they're going to join the show, tell us a little bit about it. It's called Depth. And it has to do with depth charts, but there's more to it. It's a tutorial kind of day, from presidents to this new website, and the how, the why, and the what coming up next on the Brent and Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing is taking their 75-plus years of expertise and expanding to CGC Home Services. Water treatment and plumbing is still a big part of what they do, and now they can do even more for you. Home services like kitchen and bathroom remodeling, showers, sinks, faucets, toilet repair, backflow testing, and the list keeps going. Find all they can do at cgchomeservices.com or give them a call, 904-298-7052. It's a new look and a new name with the same expertise. They've been serving homes like yours since 1946. CGC Home Services, right here in Jacksonville off St. John's Bluff Road, 904-298-7052. And visit cgchomeservices.com. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
We've been telling you about the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network for over a year now. How to find it, what to see. Simply put, it's TV online. Local sports content all day, every day. Just like this.
Did you always want to make history? Like, think that big, or just say, hey, I want to play in the NFL?
I always say I wanted to play in the NFL.
Cuts it back to her left side, takes a shot, and into the back of the net.
Oh, what a pass.
Oh, my goodness.
What a pass.
Say he doesn't make a tackle, you still feel like his presence is felt in every single play.
I did have a sense that they wanted to be bold, that they wanted to make a splash.
It's content you won't find on TV. Find it on actionsportsjax.com and just sit back and watch local sports all day on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
It's one of the hot spots in the area.
Welcome you to String Sports Brewery out at the beach. Big crowd on hand tonight. The fans are here.
And now, the newest hot spot at the beach is open. String Sports Brewery in Jax Beach has opened its doors with rave reviews.
We're going to be fans forever.
Cozy up to the bar, grab a seat in the sports-themed restaurant, or grab a seat outside and feel that breeze coming off the beach as the weather warms. Just like the original location in Springfield, try the popular beer menu and come for lunch or dinner too, because the food is fantastic.
We got a special guest in the house. He's happy. He's feeling good. He's Trayvon Walker.
It's where we hosted Jags Report Live in the football season, and the String Sports Brewery staff can't wait to host you. Hey, welcome back here to String Sports Brewery. And if you haven't checked out the new location in Jax Beach, you got to do it. String Sports Brewery, now with 2 locations in Springfield and now open in Jax Beach on Penman Road.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick GMC. We are professional grade.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Kind of a weird day here in Jacksonville. It's kind of gloomy, only like 60-something degrees out, and maybe that's a good thing for my allergies. Allergies popped this weekend. I was at TPC Sawgrass Thursday. I'm at baseball and softball fields nonstop Friday, Saturday, even yesterday, stopped by UNF. And it's allergy season. Oak just popped. Pine has been there. But the cold weather has kind of diminished the allergy stuff, thankfully. But now it got warmer last week, so they pop. You see it, pollen all over your cars. Can't go to the car wash enough. And then this week, First Alert Weather Team's like, hey, this is going to be a terrible week for allergies. It's dry, warm. Those allergies are just waiting to come out. And last night, Saturday night was brutal for me. Like, the only thing I can envision is must be like kind of being in a coma, but you know you're in one. It's just like miserable. And then yesterday was like they're still lingering. I mean, this week on the show could be a disaster. I'm just giving everybody a heads up right now. It could be snot dripping, sniffling, sneezing for the next few days. But right now it's not too bad because it's kind of cool.
They say we had a doctor in the Action News Jax studio.
I saw this email. I didn't read through it. Was he education?
He was light. He works at, I believe it's the Jacksonville Nasal Something Institute. He'll be on this week on the 904. You can watch that on Sunday. But he said it's because of all the wind coming off the ocean that spreads it, and we don't have any mountains or anything to knock it down. Tall buildings, not until downtown, so they spread a lot more.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why. That's
interesting. One of the reasons.
Okay.
Because everybody, the oak pollen is not what you see. You can't see oak pollen. That's what you're getting rocked by.
Yeah.
So when you look on your windshield and it's all yellow, that's not oak. That's pine.
That's the pine
but
one?
A lot of people struggle with oak more.
I do. I think oak is my bigger one. Like, I could remember.
It just started falling this week.
Before they built, the exit, the 9B, and then the exit to get down to my house down in St. Johns County, I used to go like a back way. And there are times, like at this time of year, where I would drive through that because it's over where like Liberty Pines is down in St. Johns County. And they call it Liberty Pines for a reason. There are a bunch of pine trees right down that road. And I swear during this time of year, I would go through that 2-mile stretch. And by the time I got to my house, I'd be sneezing just by going through that stretch, like when it was at its peak performance. Now they've knocked down so many dang trees anyway and all that other stuff. But, when it's bad, it is that's bad. That's an interesting explanation. I hadn't heard that before, though, in Jacksonville. I say that there's one thing, like we fix so many things, and I'll take a Zyrtec or a Claritin or whatever, and then there's like nasal spray. I said this to Hick the last couple of weeks. What I really don't understand, as smart as we are, as good as we are, like why can't they just zap me with something and they go away immediately?
Yeah.
Like why can't I take something and these things just stop? It feels like you should, right? Like if I got a headache, I go take an Advil or a couple Advils. I'm like, within 20 minutes, it's gone. Mm-hmm. Why can't we do that with allergies? Can somebody please do that? Because, listen, there are a lot of miserable things that you got to deal with that I don't probably have to deal with, but allergies suck. When they're at, like, fever pitch, it is brutal. Absolutely brutal. All right. I didn't think Philip was entering this kind of conversation, probably. There's a new website. For Jags fans, for football fans, not just for Jags fans, but it's created by a Jags fan. And there he is right now. You even have gear for this. You guys were ready to go.
You have to represent, right? Absolutely.
Sorry, you walked into an allergy conversation, man.
Hey, I'm learning about allergies, presidents today. Like, what more could you want from this programming?
Yeah, well, we're all learning about presidents today. Obviously, we failed that test. So it's called Depth, but it's depth_charts on social media. Well, you can push all the stuff out there that you want. And I was interested. You guys just launched this last week. And I say you guys, it might just be you. I don't know. I'm sure there's some more people helping out. But you are a Jags fan, right? Like, it's a Jags fan coming up with a with an NFL site, and tell us a little bit more about it.
You know what it is? Yeah, I am a Jags fan, of course, since day one, pretty much. But Brent, over the last few years, I've really found a need in the marketplace when it comes to just finding an online resource, when it comes to finding good depth chart, information and things of that nature. So I felt that like there was a huge need there. So I wanted to make sure we could start creating something where, whether a transaction comes along, whether it be something as small as the Jaguars re-signing Matt Dickerson and DJ Dallas, or something as big as Bradley Chubb getting released, fans really start to utilize our site as kind of the go-to thing to see exactly how those things pan out. And that's really what we're trying to do. That's kind of our mission, is instantaneous reflection of those things, so that's something that we're really, really excited about.
Okay, so if I'm looking up depth charts, which I often do, just to kind of figure out who's on whose team now and all this other stuff, without giving them too much love, I mean, you go to like Our Lads or something like that. I mean, I Google it and that comes up, or sometimes the teams have them. Sometimes ESPN has them. What were they missing when you see any of those kind of sites that you saw the hole for, right? That wasn't that you wanted more, that you were thirsty for more, and you saw a space for this kind of opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I'm glad you brought it up. Of course, those solutions are out there, and the one of the pain points that I found is just the time. You know how people consume information now, right? Everybody needs stuff right away. They're on Twitter, on everything, refreshing. We got free agency coming up, right? Can you imagine the amount of refreshing and scrolling and anything and this and that? So it was number one, the timing, but number two, and this is most importantly, is we have actual grading mechanisms attributed to these rosters, right? So now you can go and see, for example, Miami Dolphins releasing Bradley Chubb, their roster score, which we have calculated. We have algorithms and things of that nature, pops down from a 68.9 to a 68.02 right then and there. So if you're a fan of the NFL, and it doesn't have to be just the Jaguars, just anything going on, it's going to be a really fun resource to see how all those things change and develop and evolve as we go into this off season.
All right, I'm on it right now. Let's. I've got a lot more questions, but I'm gonna, because you mentioned it, I'm looking at it, and I click on the Miami Dolphins, and I don't give a damn about the Miami Dolphins, but I'm clicking on the Miami Dolphins. But I do. I mean, the Bradley Chubb news is interesting. He's 29 years old. Should the Jags be interested in someone like Bradley Chubb? If they can't find a 3 technique, do they go get an edge guy, kick Trayvon Walker in? Could that be at least a piece of the puzzle that they try to do, right? So we could have a whole conversation about that. But what you're going to eventually get to, is it worth it to do something like that? And you just mentioned that the Dolphins' overall score, as I'm looking at this page on your site, depth-charts.com, and go to Miami, very easy to navigate it, by the way, and the overall score is at 68.02. What did you say it was before Chubb's news?
68.9. So I think he was graded at like a 75, around there, at that strong defensive end spot that you see right there. It's going to change a little bit, right? Anytime you got a new regime change and new scheme change with Jeff Hafley, that's going to change a little bit, right? In terms of those things. But yeah, that's a big kind of drop off. And
is that really big? That's what I was going to ask you. Is that pretty big?
It's a big drop off only because there's not another guy there right now, right? So whenever we don't have somebody, we just put that at like a standard 55, which is pretty much the lowest there as a placeholder. Because in terms of being a fan, you're doing mock drafts or things like that, you're planning, you could very quickly identify, hey, there's a huge hole right there at strong defensive end. All of a sudden, edge becomes a huge need for that team specifically.
Okay, so let me ask you probably the easiest question, but don't give me too much of the that you can't give me, and you probably won't. Like, so where's the number coming from?
Absolutely, yeah.
What does that 55 mean? Like, who made it? Who got it? Who?
Perfect. So yeah, so you could actually go onto any player's profile page. We have search bars at the very top, or if you go on the team pages, scroll down, we have a nice little gallery where you could click on player profiles.
I'm going to go back to Jags for this kind of conversation, okay? Just because everybody's familiar with that. But go ahead, keep talking. Let's go. Let's pick a guy. Let's go with who do we want to go with? Let's say who could get paid. How about let's just go with ETN? Or do you have him on there? No, you might not, because he's a free agent.
Of course. Yeah, we have ETN on there, so you could start typing ETN in the search bar, and he'll pop right up there.
All right. I'm going to find it. Hang on.
No worries.
But go ahead. Oh, yeah, I get them right there. There we go. Okay, keep going. Where'd the number come from then on ETN? Which you got is RAS profile, that RAS, right? 79.72. And so that's where you're getting some of this info.
Some of this info, really. So another cool thing about this website, Brent, is there are so many tools out there, right? You're seeing them pop up like weeds. PFF, PFSN impact score, expected points added over the moon, on this day, and so on and so forth, right?
That's why I bring Daniel Griffiths in to write about it, man, because I don't get any of it.
And he's the best, right? And he's one of my favorite follows, and this is really up someone like his alley. So what we're trying to do is take a lot of that information and make it and consolidate it into something that's really easy to digest and understand, not only for the fans that are super in the weeds, but also, your casual football fan as well. I think that's really important to be able to cater to everyone, to educate, to learn everything of that nature. So what we're doing is we're taking a lot of that information and we're kind of blending it into our own proprietary algorithm that will help calculate a player's rushing score, a player's receiving score, carrying explosiveness, for this example with Travis Etienne. And when you add all that up, you come up with an analytics score. And analytics are fantastic, right? I mean, they're becoming so in vogue. They're so important. And they tell you kind of what the player has done, but they don't tell you the whole story, and that's what's really important is you also have to get that who the player is, right? So what we do is we take that analytics score and then we average it with what we call a depth perception score, okay? And then that average of the two numbers is what you see for that player's overall, and that's what goes on the depth chart, that big 79.72 if you're on ETN's page.
So ETN and this one, as we welcome Jason Hamby in the he's itching. Look, he can't wait to ask you questions about this thing. But so the depth score is really good, obviously, to get 74.45 analytics score for ETN. To boost his score up 5 points, I would imagine. I mean, I can do the math on that, right? If you put the two, it's around 85 or something like that.
Exactly.
And what does that mean? Is that the intangibly rich stuff?
It is, yeah. I'm glad you said that. You know what? That's so important, right? And that's the thing. And that's a little bit interesting. I have 10 years of experience as a background investigator as well. So I really like to get into the player, who they are, right? And that's really important. So you hit the nail on the head. It's an intangibly rich score, right? And it's not only character, right? It's also impact to the team and how important they are. So I think I've been kind of tailoring all the formulas and everything for the last year and a half, right? So I piloted everything behind the scenes last year, tweaked here, there, everywhere, and felt like we were really close to a really good product to come to market, which we've launched on Super Bowl Sunday.
That's really cool. Hamby, what you got? Before I've got a million more questions. You got a lot of time on your hand, Philip, or what?
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a lot. I want to know first, during the season, does this become a different monster of game-by-game tweaking? And how much are we going to see game by game? Well, look, he had ETN, for example, has a monster game. How will the algorithm, take in that into account, whether it was just one rush that he popped for 70 yards or, he had a great game where he's averaging 6 a carry or something like that?
For sure. It's a great question. Thanks, Jason. So we're not going to be doing like game by game stuff like PFF. So that's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be doing one huge mid-season update. Okay. Because for the data to work and how we kind of have the algorithm set up, we need a big chunk of data, right? We can't just have Devin Lloyd, with 2 interceptions and all this and, grading out like crazy after a game is going to you're going to see a lot of seesawing and teeter-tottering. We don't want that. We want a really good sense of who, what the player does and who he is. So we're going to do a mid-season update, and then we're going to do another update at the end of the year, because another unique thing about what we do is we actually have coaching scores. We have a score for the head coach as well. And that accounts for 5% of the team's roster grade. I don't think there's another sport out there where the coaching matters as much as the NFL. Look at the Jaguars themselves, going from one year to the next. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't think anybody's doing that, grading the coach.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a lot of fun wrinkles coming up and, thrown into a lot of these things where we launched on Sunday. I had a couple people messaging on Monday that were like, I don't feel like working today. I've been on this site for 3 hours, just clicking around, doing stuff. And I was like, that's great to hear, because that's really what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Hopefully in their other browser, they have the Brent and Austen show on while they're clicking through.
Exactly.
That's what we're hoping. Philip Bruce from the Depth. Do you go by, it's just Depth, right?
Yeah, it is. It is just Depth. Yeah. Nice and easy. Keep it simple.
Nice and easy. All right. And I want to get back into the weeds of this in a moment, but I had this question I don't want to forget, and I'm trying to think, like, as you're saying all this, and I'm looking at it, and it does, by the way, it's a really good-looking site and easy to navigate, which is good for all different ages, which is also good. But who do you think this is for maybe the most from a consumer consumption standpoint? It could be for us in the media. It could just be for the fan. It could be for the gambler. It could be for the fantasy footballer. Like, there's probably other buckets, but those are the four that come to mind, at least right away. Who, from a marketing, a do well standpoint, or whatever else, who did you really have in mind when you started to navigate and create?
The answer is yes.
Yeah,
Everyone.
I know it's all. I know it's all buckets.
But first and foremost, I think it's a lot of those, like, number one, fans that are trying to learn more about players and more about what this guy does well, what weaknesses are, things of that nature. But it's more, I started doing these, like, just making these an Excel sheet probably like 10 years ago, as I was getting into scouting and working a little bit in that arena. As I was going through, mock draft exercises and everything like that, I'd have one screen open on the Excel sheets that I had, which you now see manifested as Depth, and then the other one on a simulator or whatever you're using. So you can do a really better job in terms of being able to find those fits and stuff like that. So I'd say number one is the fan, then everybody you mentioned, and then I even had an agent message me saying, this is going to help us a lot for priority free agency once we get to that end of round 7 in terms of where we want to put people. So thank you for it. So
that's cool.
There's a lot of uses for it, and that's why I'm really enjoying the project, because, people can use it as they see fit.
So what has to work on it? Like, it's cool, a good appetite. I can go off it, but it's, still in the PFF world. PFF's been around for a while, and we're still kind of like, yeah, these are the numbers, but, right? It's like, but we say it with a grain of salt. And some people, even in NFL buildings, know this for fact. Some people really value it. Other people just use it as a tool and part of the equation. And I would imagine some people are more on like the 20%, whatever, we're trusting our eyes, Sure. Will that be, do you think, eventually the way this could land is everybody's going to have a varying level of confidence, I guess you could say, in it?
I do, yeah. And at the end of the day, what we really want it is to be fun, right? That's the most important thing. Like, you don't see any ads on our website. It's free, right? So we want everybody to have.
Come on, man! You got to make some money. How are you making money off this thing?
We'll get to that. YouTube. We'll get to that down the road. We want to be able to make sure that we're creating a brand from scratch, right? So we really want to make sure that people are going to it, enjoying it, right? And then finding the use and becoming recurring visitors. So that's really the most important thing. As we transition and evolve in the future, we'll see. But for a good long while, we just want people to really enjoy the site and use it as a resource. And like I said before, anything happens, any big NFL transaction, we really want to be the first place that people go to kind of see the ripple effect of that.
Yeah, it's easy to understand. How nervous were you last Sunday when you launched it?
I wasn't even nervous. That was the funny part. I scheduled all the posts and everything like that of the day before, and then I was kind of just enjoying my day. I had my parents over, and I'm just checking it every so often, but when you think you have something really intriguing and fun, it gives you a little bit of confidence in that regard. So now it's just a matter of getting the word out and having people come and visit the site for sure.
What's going to cause you more work, free agency or the draft?
I was all this past weekend, Jason, I've been just churning through draft profiles. We're going to have a huge draft big board with these types of scores, so you'll be able to sort everything there, and I'll have a profile for I actually built all the pages over the weekend for, I think, 280 players. That is kind of a little bit behind the scenes. Yeah. So, and I put one of them live. If you want to see Mike Washington Jr., anybody that's out there listening, going to the site, you can kind of get a little sneak preview on the Brent and Austen show of what the depth view, that's what we call the college portal, profiles will look like, the pretty cool aesthetic on that front. So
yeah, go on. No, sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that was it. So that's pretty much it. That's the number one priority right now. Yeah, we got free agency. We'll be updating the actual depth charts for the teams as players sign in real time. And we'll be updating. We have a free agency tracker as well. But the college stuff's going to be where the meat is and the fun.
Yeah. What's the, by the way, shock your mock season, Hamby?
Yeah.
But you're using this site all the time.
Will.
There we go. Is that the hard part? Is kind of putting the profile in? Like if you were to put Jason Hamby in, that creating the profile, because then the algorithm kind of takes care of itself. Is that the legwork?
Yep. It's pretty much doing that. Once the player page is created and everything of that nature, then you're putting in the numbers, right, that you're crunching from all these different tools and analytics sites. And then really the most work is the write-ups, the actual player write-ups, where it's fun for me from my scouting background to be able to do those things. But I know for sure people are really going to be wanting to see what's on the top, in terms of the grading breakdowns and stuff like that. So
just so everybody knows, in the construction of teams, if you talk to GMs, it depends. You remember all the Trent Baalke stuff with the color system and everything else. And then a lot of people will refer to, just blue chippers in general. How many blue chippers do you need on a team to feel like you're Super Bowl worthy or whatever else? And those numbers vary. I think everybody else has their own philosophy on that and what that means. And sometimes the sum is whatever they say. What's that? Sum is better than the parts. Greater than the parts. But on here on this system, you have like a bunch of different color codes from 55 to 59 grade, which is in red, to generational player 95 plus. I guess my curiosity is how many like generational players are in your system, in your database?
We only have one right now. We only have one right now. It's Miles.
Oh wait,
Garrett.
Let's guess. Oh, Myles Garrett. Okay.
Yeah. Miles Garrett.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't think you would just have one. Were you surprised that it came out to just one?
I'm not, Brent, because a big reason for that is because we want to be able, and this is something we'll probably do in the future, is go back, and for any people we can get good data on, is be able to get a lot of those legend scores, like a Randy Moss, a Calvin Johnson, and everything like that. So then we can compare the player now to the player then. Right. So if Calvin Johnson is the perfect wide receiver built in a lab, right, from physical to this and this and this and this, then how does Brian Thomas Jr. or Travis Hunter, compare to that as their career evolves?
That's pretty cool. I love the concept, man. I love that's why I wanted to have you on. I mean, as much as just pushing it out there and letting people see it, it's another tool, the way we consume football. But I love the fact that it's kind of a homegrown thing, and you've obviously been working on this for a long time. You've had it in your mind, and that's always pretty cool when you have something in your mind that comes to fruition. It takes a while, but here you are. So congratulations on that part. I think you said something, background investigator. I didn't know if that was for the FBI or if that was for scouting. Can you... whatever you can tell us about your background, like do you have football background or is it, I'm a big football fan? Because a lot of people have morphed football fandom into, heady jobs in the NFL or college football or high school football, including like offensive coordinators and head coaches.
I mean, Mike McDonald.
Exactly.
No, for sure. I was actually a soccer player growing up. I was a goalkeeper. My father was a FIFA referee for over 20 years.
That's cool.
Believe it or not. So, but I always loved football. I always became a big fan. And then for a few years, I started working as a scout with Eric Galco, who now runs the Shrine Bowl, right? So I was working with him and his company for about 3 years, right when they were getting the XFL stuff done. So that was a really great experience that, really helps in a venture like this, for sure, being able to lean on some of that as well. And then in terms of the background investigator, it's kind of independent contractor type stuff, but it does lend a pretty different lens, right? We hear that word a lot, right? Especially with our GM. It's a different lens of seeing a player, for sure. And, I think those experiences, when you blend them together, really makes it interesting, right? Because you're kind of seeing it from a different vantage point.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Listen, Hamby's a baseball guy. I'm a baseball guy. Like, if I was going to scout something, I could probably at least feel more comfortable scouting a baseball player than even a football player.
For sure.
And I'm still not sure what the hell goes into scouting a baseball player. They all look the same. I say it all the time. I'm out of baseball film. Like, how do they tell the difference between X, Y, and Z? But when you just give us a little bit of an idea, because now I'm fascinated in a different respect of, like, when you were doing scouting, like, what did you get good at it? Like, was there something? Was it just a movement thing? I mean, everybody's got the measurables. That's easy. Then where do you go from there? Like, what was that process like? And as someone who was a soccer player, right? That wasn't a football player. Like, did you get pretty good at once you graded yourself out over that few years span? I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would like to think so, right?
Yeah.
I remember
Well, you can say so if you want. Like, we don't know.
Everybody misses, right? So that stuff kind of happens. But I remember when I was starting, I was doing a lot of Conference USA. That was my assignment, and I was doing Big 12, right? So when I was doing that, it was Baker time, it was Mason Rudolph time, with a lot of those players. And then I remember a couple I remember coming and saying, "Hey, there's this guy at UAB, Darius Williams, former Jack." And
Creekside Night.
Nobody's watching this. This guy's just wrecking people, on the boundary. Like, this guy's gonna have a big grade. So I think, to answer your question, I think that's the most gratifying thing, right? It's not when you're scouting the number 1 pick in the draft in Baker Mayfield. No one cares, right? It's really, that's the most fun part, is being able to find a lot of those hidden gems and things of that nature, and seeing that career manifest, over the course that it does.
That's pretty cool. Hamby, you got anything else?
Dude, I mean, the logos on these things are sick. I want to know how you came up with some of these logos, because obviously I'm sure there's proprietary stuff there with the NFL.
Yeah. I noticed that too, that you had to do some funky stuff, and maybe you're the one that leaked the new Titans logo. I don't know.
And how funny was that, right? That thing was pretty watered down. But no, I'm actually my full-time gig is I'm a graphic designer, so I made all the logos. It's always been something I've wanted to do, like, just if I had spare time, which is of course limited, more and more, it seems like nowadays. But it was always something I wanted to do, and I thought it coincided really well with a project like this, and I think a great opportunity down the road for merchandise, right? Brent, you talked about making money. So, it could be
Absolutely.
something really interesting as the brand grows. People are always into some different stuff when it comes to that, putting it on a hat or whatever.
Yeah. Right now, people are probably like, I want one of those pullovers, quarter zips, or hats. Yeah, absolutely. That's a thing.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I just thought it would be a little bit something different. You see the same thing 1,000 times over the course of the month when it comes to your favorite team or other favorite teams. Just something different to look at, a little bit visually stimulating. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go, before we finish up with you, appreciate you taking the time. Philip Bruce, who founded Depth, and you can check it out easily at depth-charts.com. Also a YouTube channel as well. Follow on Twitter. Everything's up and running. And is there going to be different, what kind of content, by the way, are you putting out on YouTube or even on social media outside of the website, I guess?
Yeah, we will. Not much now, because I'm in the trenches right now building, for the draft stuff. But we'll be doing, different team previews, stuff of that nature as we go through, for sure. With the content, free agency, reaction stuff, it's just kind of simple stuff like that, as we evolve. But right now is really just prepping for NFL free agency, and the draft, for sure.
All right, so I want to go over the Jags team, because obviously that's where everybody's got interest. So if you go to the Jags profile with a little hashtag Duval, and you get their overall grade of 75.95, is that pretty good?
Yeah, 75.95, and that's the fun thing too. We actually have team rankings for all the rosters. So let me pull that up really quick. Team rankings for there. So just to get a good sense of where the Jaguars land on that. Yeah, 7th. So that's pretty cool, right? So and you'll see these grades take a big jump after free agency and draft. That's what tends to happen, I found, in doing a lot of these pilots, right? Everything's stripped right now, right? So Devin Lloyd is stripped off, Buster Brown is stripped off, so on and so forth. So once you start adding pieces back to the car, that's when you're going to see the grades kind of pop up. And if you really hit that 80 mark, that's really a good benchmark for a Super Bowl caliber team.
Well, there you go. I would say so. Jags maybe aren't too far away in that respect. What does on the bottom of preseason projected 2026 NFL draft position 17, midseason projected draft position 15? What does that mean?
Yeah, so that's where they landed on that ranking table.
Okay.
Yeah, so so they were anticipated to be picking 17th in the draft, right? And then when I did the midseason, it was 15, and they actually ended up a lot better, right? And
I see. Okay.
What you're going to see is a big impact on that is actually the evolution of the coaching score, right? Because when Liam got hired, his coaching score was next to nothing because there was really no proof in the pudding, so to speak, when it comes to that. You'll see that a lot with a lot of the new higher grades, the Clint Kubiak, Mike LaFleur, right? You're going to see that they're very low. And then you got like an Aaron Glenn who's even under them despite having a year under his belt just because how the Jet season went. But as you see that kind of go up and the team starts doing well, that's when you could also see a big bump in those rankings.
Who I'm just scanning quick. Trevor's at an 81. Seems pretty good. Good color, right? The Jags, if I look at that, Cam Little's at a 90, just for reference, by the way. The second highest graded Jags, if my eyes are correct, Josh Hines-Allen at 85.
Yeah.
And Parker Washington at 84. That seems like a surprisingly big Parker Washington score. I don't know if I would have guessed that if you had asked me without looking.
Yeah, I think we got Parker at 77.
Did I?
Oh yeah, he's got 84 for the return.
Oh, just for the return. My bad.
Specialist.
My bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah,
okay.
Which he's phenomenal, right? So
yeah.
that goes into the special team score. Yeah, we got the special team score pumping as well, right? With the specialist. But his actual receiver score is that 77. Which that was a huge jump. I think we had him around 68 before the season started. So him and Antonio Johnson went to the moon.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
This year.
That's pretty wild.
The two biggest risers for sure. And I don't see big jumps of like 10 points often. And Antonio Johnson in particular, I think he started at like a 67 or 66, something like that, and just went nuts.
That's pretty wild you say that, because I would love to know in your data, maybe you can do this, but after like 3 or 4 games, I wonder where Antonio Johnson was, because a lot of people were down on Antonio Johnson even in that time in the early stages, and then boom, he popped. He had the big interception against Houston, but I think overall his play, people were still a little curious about it, and it really picked up steam in the last couple of months, especially. Other big, Foye Oluokun's a big number on here at 83, even at his age, and I think it shows the value, and he's a guy that's interesting. This is where I think this score can maybe help validate the Foye defenders, if you will. And I'm not saying there are critics, but I'm just at $15 million a year at his age. There are people that are wondering if he's lost a step. Is he as dynamic as he could be when you're paying that kind of dollar? The bottom line is I think this shows his value to this football team is pretty damn high.
Oh, yeah, he's a production maniac. I think that's where he gets a lot of his score coming in, and a big factor in all these player scores, and this is a big reason why if you look at someone like a McCary, right, that's always one that I look at right there. I think he graded out like in our total holistic system, like 74 out of 77 guards, and I wasn't a huge fan of that signing to begin with. And then after I crunched all the numbers, I was like, yeah, that pretty much checks out, just because his athleticism was so low, coming out of Cal. And he really didn't play probably as well as many think, but in the limited snaps, you could see right down behind him breathing down his neck. In the limited snaps, Wyatt Milan played, and he's a good athlete and everything like that. I would probably venture to guess that that's kind of how that position manifests as we go through camp.
That's a good one. That's a good one to keep an eye on. And by the way, they paid a pretty good price tag for McCary. Like they got a way better deal on Hainsey, at least the way it looks. But I think in that conversation, the guy that gets absolutely hammered in the fan base, who is not probably that far off some of these other guys that get praised, is Walker Little. Little at 72, a Cole Van Lanen at 76. Just for other reference, a Hainsey at a 75 from a different position. But even Anton Harrison, who I think has a lot of upside. I like Anton Harrison a lot. He's at a 74. So does your system basically show, hey, there's a lot of noise about Walker Little, but his production might be better than people think?
Yeah, and I think Walker started off a lot better too. I think he slipped a little bit as
Okay.
the season kind of transpired. And a big factor too with a lot of these offensive linemen is penalties. You know, if you're committing a ton of penalties, you're going to get knocked quite a bit. And unfortunately for McCary, on top of the athleticism, on top of everything else in the scoring and the analytics, he does suffer from some penalties from time to time, right? So it's really kind of like the perfect storm, so to speak, for a player like that.
Look at this. Looks so pretty, doesn't it?
It's easy to digest, right? That's the number one thing we wanted people to really quickly see it, and within 10 seconds get a really good sense of what's going on with the team, right?
Yeah. There's especially numbers, man. Like people don't love numbers all the time. And so you got to be able to consume them. We know that in our business. We try not to spit too many out, even just talking, because people can't actually consume them. But to see this, and it's pretty crystal clear. And if you want to dive deeper, you can dive deeper. All right, I think I got one more question. I have a lot of questions, but maybe we'll have you on again. I've got one more question, at least for now.
Sure.
Because the biggest thing going, and I think he's gone. I think Devin Lloyd's going to be gone. I think Travis Etienne probably is gone, but I think Devin Lloyd definitely is going to go get the big dollar somewhere else. Mm-hmm. My curiosity is, how do they fill it? And so you've got Ventrell Miller, which I think people miss this, but Ventrell Miller and Devin Lloyd were neck and neck in August. Like they were battling for that position. Then obviously Lloyd just has a monster year, just an incredible year. And he's probably the more talented guy in general anyway. That's why he was drafted in the first round. Ventrell Miller scores, I think, a 68 here. Can you give us, what would Devin Lloyd be, especially coming off this year?
Yeah, Devin Lloyd, I think he was the number 4 ranked free agents on our free agency tracker. So Devin Lloyd, I think he came out to like a 85 or something like that.
So he's in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a crazy score, because a lot of the metrics, you guys know, right? Like PFF loves Devin Lloyd. That's kind of a recurring joke when it comes to Jags fans. But 84.87 for Devin Lloyd. I mean, his athletic scores through the charts with his RAS, and then you put in he actually broke the turnover formula for linebackers. I think the cap is 5, and he got 5.4. That's how much turnovers he got, and I don't think the next linebacker was particularly close. I think it was like in the 3.8 region. So yeah, and I think in terms of the strategy for the Jaguars, I think that's going to be really interesting, because you've got some of these guys that are about to get paid like crazy. We're about to maybe get some compensatory picks for the first time in a really long time. So we're going to have to see how that affects the strategy for Gladstone and the Jags as they go into this. Maybe they don't do anything in that first wave because they don't want anything to offset in that regard. Maybe they kind of wait till things settle down, or get somebody that's released like a Bradley Chubb that doesn't impact that compensatory pick formula.
That's good. Good call. I think it's the reason I asked you about the Ventrell Miller one, because I'm finding it fascinating. Let's say they lose ETN. I think Bashil Tootin performs pretty well at 71 on your score. I think that what I'm looking for is the gap. Who's hard to replace? And what I would also throw in here, at least I don't think Devin Lloyd may ever play to the level that he just played. And I think they have to ask themselves that as well. And then you bring in the cost and all of that. But how they are replacing a guy like Devin Lloyd really, to me, is the fascinating part. And can Ventrell Miller do that? Now, that's a big gap. That's like 17 points in this score to overcome. And that might not be enough. That might mean, hey, you got to go draft that guy, or you got to go get somebody in free agency, even to get that up to a 75 or something on your grading system. So we'll fit a little bit better. Yeah. I mean, just close the gap, right? It's all margins at the end of the day in the NFL. All right, I lied to you. I got one more, because if I don't ask you about this guy, I feel like I'm not doing my job. How did you do the Travis Hunter thing? Was he interesting to compute, or was it just plug him in as a receiver, plug him in as a corner? Like, what was that conundrum for you and the site?
That was a lot of fun. He's the only player that has 2 profiles. So, he has 1 profile, but if you go on his page, he has 2 of those graphics as the score for the receiver and a score for the DB. I never had that before, never seen that before. So I remember when I was doing that, I was just smiling kind of to myself. I was like, this is pretty cool, right? This is kind of something that's transcending, as the Jaguars have been saying, something a little bit different. That's been really eye-opening. I've loved that part.
Yeah, it's pretty neat that you can just go click on. I think Ryan Williams was asking about Dennis Gardak. So go check out the site, depth-charts.com. You can click on it. What do you got, Andy?
The Dolphins just released Tyreek Hill.
No way. I got work to do, I guess.
Hey, their overall score is dropping as we speak.
Oh, it's plummeting. I mean, they're going to be in the bottom of the ocean soon on these rankings. So,
well, you got another one too. They just released veteran guard James Daniels. He doesn't do as much, but they also Nick Westbrook-Akine. He's gone too. They're releasing the whole team. You've got a lot of work to do for Dolphins fans.
They're just taking a blowtorch to this thing, aren't they?
It seems like they are, of course, with the new regime down there. That's a big news, Tyreek Hill. We'll talk a little bit more about that. If we keep Philip Bruce on any longer, he's going to have to be a co-host named to the show. So we won't do that. Hey, congrats on it, man. Looks great. We'll utilize it, and maybe you can pop back on if we can help other folks know a little bit more about it over the next couple of months through the draft, through Shock Your Mock season, and free agency as well. Glad to do it.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
You bet. Good luck with it. That is Philip Bruce with depth. And when we come back, Kansas State has some depth on the coaching staff, and our buddy Matthew Driscoll is going to get a chance to be the head man for some Big 12 action, at least for the remainder of this season, which is only a couple weeks longer in the regular season. We'll talk a little bit about that and update you on the big releases of the Miami Dolphins. That's Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, no chance. Bradley Chubb, any chance here in Jacksonville? Does that do anything for you? Does it even make sense? We'll talk some NFL when we come back on the Brent and Austen Show here on a Monday.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hi, I'm Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville. Whether you're looking for a side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, or scooter, Honda has what you need.
The Honda Talon. Ultimate performance meets family-friendly fun. Prices starting at $363 a month. Or the sporty Honda CBR 650 starting at an affordable $204 a month.
Stop by and choose your adventure from a full line of Honda products. Only at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Family owned and operated since 1983.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay & Associates at divorcemenonly.com.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily access Action News Jax Now using your Roku device. First, launch Roku. Next, use the menu list to scroll down to the search feature. Then, use the remote to enter Action News Jax into the search bar, and then click Action News Jax thumbnail. Once you see this screen, go ahead and select Add App. Wait a few seconds for it to install. Once it finishes installing, press the Start button on your remote and click on Move App or Move App to the top. Finally, select the app back on your home screen to open it. Now you can watch all the great content on Action News Jax Now. Live daily breaking news.
We have breaking news happening right now in Clay County.
First alert weather and traffic.
Looks like we have a tornado warning. Let's take a look at that.
Action Sports Jax 24/7.
We've got the Brent and Austen Show daily, live sporting events, and long-form interviews you can't see anywhere else.
And shows like Law and Crime and much more. And that's how you access Action News Jax Now using your Roku device.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Tyreek Hill released by the Miami Dolphins. They are just saying goodbye to everybody right now. And Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill. What's Tyreek Hill right now? Tyreek Hill was with the best guy in the game, the most dynamic guy in the game. And honestly, just don't know what he really is as a player at this stage of his career. At 31 years old, he's going to be 32 in 2 weeks.
Well, he's an 83 on depth charts.
There you go. I like the reference already. So, when I say Tyreek Hill, like, does he get you excited anymore that he's a free agent or is going to be available?
I mean, the first thing that comes with it is like Antonio Brown 2.0 to me. Like, it's just not worth it. Does the guy still have something to give on the field? I think so. I mean, he's too talented. He's too fast. But it's the injuries, it's the off the field where the money is not worth it. But to have a spot to get a chance, if he has his head on straight and is fully devoted to football, I think there are 1,000-yard seasons still left in Tyreek Hill.
Are there?
Which, I mean, again, is not the biggest prediction because it's not that hard to get 1,000 yards in the NFL.
Yeah.
But still, I think for a guy of his age, like, if he were to go out for 1,000 yards next year, I think we'd all have. I mean, certainly he'd probably be in comeback of the year kind of territory. I think that's plausible.
Yeah, by the way, just so you know, too, and I think somebody says no, bro, and I'm not sure what he's talking about. If that's like, if the assumption is, am I asking that to come to Jacksonville?
Yeah, no.
I'm not talking about him in Jacksonville. I'm just asking him as a player. Yeah, maybe most obvious Kansas City Chief of all time. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's now 3 years removed from a monster season with Miami. It's 1,799 yards, his best season of his career, even better than the Mahomes seasons. Had 13 touchdowns. It's unbelievable, 112 a game. But the next year, he played all 17. Had 81 catches for 1,000 yards. Really, not even 959. That was 11.8 a catch. Like, there are a ton of guys that do that. I mean, a ton of guys. He had 6 touchdowns. I mean, that's a very modest season for at least a star player, huge impact player. And is that an age thing at 30 years old? I do think 30, 31, 32, you start getting into the age conversation with receivers. That was when Calvin Ridley was coming here to Jacksonville. You're like, but also he hadn't played for a year and a half or so maybe that helped. And then when Tennessee signed, when the Jags were thinking about re-signing him, the conversation there was you can't go too high because he is 31, 32 seasons. That's what he's going to be playing for you at. And you might only get one good year out. That's why I think the Tennessee thing, that really in hindsight looks really bad. They overpaid, and it didn't have staying power at that age. We saw guys like A.J. Green and Julio Jones really lose it at some point. I can't remember their age, but I think we've done this before, and so it was around that time. Now, was it at 31 for one guy? Was it at 33 for another guy? Was it at 34 for another guy? I don't know, but it's just not a position that at 32 and a half years old when he starts the season, that it's automatic that he's just going to play like he's played. I think that's not the way to go about this. I don't think you can just assume Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. And
I don't even think he's going to start the season healthy.
Is that injury that bad?
It is that bad. I mean,
it was a bad injury, right?
Brutal.
Yeah. And, okay. Oh, by the way, he's coming off that.
Yeah.
So now you're coming off an injury. You're 32 years old. Are your skills declining a little bit again from what he brings to the table? He's been unbelievable. He's a Hall of Famer, isn't he?
Guys, but it's fascinating how much of a range he could get money-wise. I mean, I feel like there's a $10 million range where
probably
money to go.
Well, Jacoby Myers just got $20 million a year for the Jags.
No, but if
at 20, and he's 29 years old.
If the injury plus off the field warranted, hey, Tyreek, all you're going to get is 1 year for $12 million.
That might be. It might be a 1 year. It'll be more than $12 million, though.
But I think that's a possibility. I think $20 million a year is. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
That's what I'm saying. The range, I have no idea how much money he'll command.
Who recently signed did somebody sign a recent 1 year, $20-something million deal?
A receiver?
Yeah, in the last, or maybe any position, but I think in receiver. I feel like maybe not. Maybe nowadays, it's almost like no agent's going to sign a 1 year deal. It's usually a 2 year something with heavy guarantee. So it might be a 2 year. $45 million deal.
Oh, what was Terry McLaurin's?
I think that was 3.
He got 3, right? He
3 for 90.
Bet on
3 for 90, and they overpaid. Again, that's another example, by the way.
They did.
And we had that conversation. He was 29, going to be 30, I think it was. And now they had a lot of things go wrong in Washington, but the bottom line is, from a business standpoint, from a good business standpoint, you really ask yourself, what's it worth? And I don't think there'll be as many suitors as, to your point, from the off the field, coming off the injury, to 32 years old, to the cost of receivers right now.
Right.
It really is intriguing for a lot of teams, from Kansas City to the Raiders to whoever wants to throw a name out there. It's not intriguing to the Jags, but, I mean, is it intriguing to the Houston Texans?
Okay, let me give you this.
Or the Indianapolis Colts?
So Diggs just signed a 3-year, around $63 million deal with the Patriots.
Okay. And he's got on and off the field stuff.
Following a torn ACL.
Okay.
So I think those are pretty comparable.
That is pretty comparable.
3 for 63 at 21 per.
Yeah, I think that's worth a flyer for some of these teams. Absolutely. And the guaranteed money on that, do you know what it was? Any idea?
$26 million.
That's it. I thought it'd be a little higher. Okay. So that's not, yeah. I mean, as long as there's, depending on how you work that deal out, it's probably a 2 year deal, and it might even be able to get out.
In incentives, by the way.
What's that?
$5.5 million in incentives for Diggs.
Okay. Glenn says Hill's been a cancer in the locker room. Listen, I don't know if he has at times it felt like he has the ability to be, I think. I don't know if he always has been or always is. I think he's a weird one. I've had people out of Miami tell me that if things start going sideways, look out.
Right.
Because it's not just Hill, but they had a lot of personality over the last couple of years that it could go sideways. But now Hill didn't play this past year, but I was always I was waiting for that to happen with the Mike McDaniel stuff, and they actually rescued their season a little bit. Now they became a little bit of a threat, and I didn't see that coming because I had heard the other way. If this goes bad, it's going to go bad, and it did for a bit, but then they kind of brought it back to life, at least momentarily. So. Yeah, Tyreek Hill's interesting just from an NFL landscape. I don't think he's interesting at all in Jacksonville. I do think he could be interesting in a couple of teams like Houston, like Indianapolis, who think they want a playmaker and want to get more dynamic on offense and feel like they're close. Like Houston really is an interesting spot right now because their defense is so damn good. How long are they going to go without making sure that offense gets pretty close to damn good so they can go win a Super Bowl? Because you don't have the window open forever. I mean, Danielle Hunter is not going to play forever.
Right.
Now, they got a lot of young guys, too. But their defense is so good right now, it feels like they're missing their opportunity, that they just can't even win a divisional game.
Well, we talked to wrap up, I think that must have been Thursday. We brought back up the Mike Evans conversation.
Yeah.
And kind of finishing on, look, I mean, if you're the Texans, why don't you go get somebody? And I said, I guess the only reason they wouldn't is because they have an insane belief in Jaden Higgins, who at times has flashed. Obviously, he was a rookie last year. If they don't want 3 big body receivers, right? If they think like they're 2 big body dudes, or Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins, well, then that kind of leaves Mike Evans on the, not that they would say he's not better, but you drafted Higgins early for a reason. You got to play him.
They've invested in receiver in like that second round.
But Burke's a free agent.
Okay.
So there's room for the slot. So Tyreek Hill could potentially be a better fit for what they don't already have than Mike Evans.
Yeah, I think that could be interesting. And again, they took the flyer on Stephon Diggs, right? As well. So, yeah, that'd be an interesting one to keep an eye on, I think, with the Houston Texans as a sneaky team that could be a fit. Real quick, Bradley Chubb, do anything? Does it not make sense? I mean, just add another edge guy. Is there any – I know Austen doesn't want to do it. We can bring it up again tomorrow with him, but if you can't find defensive tackle and you got a guy that you think can be a wrecker at game defensive tackle with Trayvon Walker, is that appetizing at all for the Jags to consider?
To me, it's not.
Whether it's Max Crosby or Brad. By the way, I don't really love Bradley Chubb anyway. Like, I think he's been just okay.
He did have 8.5 sacks last year.
Is that what he had?
He played all 17 games.
He might just be too much. You got too much money tied up anyway. So I would agree with you. I don't think. I'm just trying to vet it out.
That's his 3rd best season.
Is it really? Yeah, I don't think he's been as dynamic as
coming off a torn ACL too. So he's probably going to get more money than you might think.
Okay, but you rather if you're going to go big like that, let's just say pipe dream this, you'd rather go get Max Crosby
no doubt.
than
Brad.
And they're both about the same age, I think.
And I'd rather go get an interior D lineman and keep Trayvon there.
I
think Max Crosby.
Yeah. Well, and here's the deal now. Keep an eye on this in Miami. Is Seiler going to be available?
Right.
Could the Jags make that trade? Maybe we have a little more of that conversation coming up in the noon hour, because I think that's it. If they're going to just shed everybody and shed some money, and his contract, I think when I looked at it, wasn't terrible. Let's take a closer look at that potentially for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to get back on time a little bit, so take a break here. When we come back, noon hour ahead, Stuart Weber scheduled to jump in, talk a little bit more about the Daytona 500. He was there. College baseball season started. Did you catch a lot of it?
That's a lot of interesting things.
A lot going on. And if you like the college baseball, the Gators still look good, and they're starting to make threes. So we'll have some of our Republic Services recycled headlines of the day and give you the latest on what's going on down in Miami, which they're losing some big-name players. Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, could more be on the way, including Tua. I would assume that could be happening as well if you're going to start releasing a lot of guys. Just a short time ago, the Miami Dolphins had all this talent. Looked like they were going in a certain way, and then, boom, Ramsey traded away. All these other guys on the move, released, doesn't work out, and now a rebuild coming in Miami. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and don't forget Talent Talk at 2 o'clock today. We've moved it to Mondays in the spring. It's a better fit for everybody, including myself, but for everybody. So 2 o'clock on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Today at 2 o'clock with Talent Talk. We start no gate fees on Wednesday, high school baseball and softball. We'll have, of course, Fleet and Footy on Thursday. We'll have updates of the Cup date with Stuart Weber starting, too, as NASCAR season kicks off. So a lot more content here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. And last night, Where's Home podcast, the only show in America that dedicates 2 shows. The only place in America that dedicates 2 shows to a little high school baseball. And softball conversation. Gotta love that. If you like that, we'll be right back.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee. courtesy, respect, fairness. And most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnicht. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnicht. GMC. We are professional grade.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
It's been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville. Whether you're looking for a side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, or scooter, Honda has what you need.
The Honda Talon. Ultimate performance meets family-friendly fun. Prices starting at $363 a month. Or the sporty Honda CBR 650 starting at an affordable $204 a month.
Stop by and choose your adventure from a full line of Honda products. Only at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Family owned and operated since 1983.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay & Associates at divorcemenonly.com.
CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing is taking their 75-plus years of expertise and expanding to CGC Home Services. Water treatment and plumbing is still a big part of what they do, and now they can do even more for you. Home services like kitchen and bathroom remodeling, showers, sinks, faucets, toilet repair, backflow testing, and the list keeps going. Find all they can do at cgchomeservices.com or give them a call, 904-298-7052. It's a new look and a new name with the same expertise. They've been serving homes like yours since 1946. CGC Home Services, right here in Jacksonville off St. John's Bluff Road, 904-298-7052. And visit cgchomeservices.com. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Michael Jordan in victory lane at the Daytona 500. Don't forget Denny Hamlin. He's driven to 3 of these. He now gets one as a car owner as well, and he was in the race. And then that's Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, I thought some fantastic driving at the finish. Big story today in this area. The Daytona 500 in the books for 2026. They got it in. Didn't need a Monday finish. And Tyler Reddick wins. Michael Jordan forever indebted now to Tyler Reddick. That's always a cool thing. Who knew? Who knew that these two guys would be holding up a trophy together
You look back like some 10 years ago, right? It's just wild how the world works. Brent Martineau, along with Jason Hamby and UC Stuart Weber now, who was down at Daytona most of the week. And, all right, good winner, okay winner. Like, what's I know the outside world, Michael Jordan, you got that storyline. So, like, nobody knows who the hell Tyler Reddick is, but Michael Jordan winning is obviously a big deal. But from a NASCAR standpoint, a racing enthusiast standpoint, is this a good winner?
Yeah, I think so. I think most people are going to be happy with Tyler Reddick getting a win in the Great American Race. You know, he actually didn't win all of last year, which was a bit of a surprise for that 45 team with 2311 Racing, because he won 3 times the year prior. So good team, good racer, not a big surprise. I think probably some people like that it's not one of the big 3 teams that gets the win, but it's still not one of the fluky teams that gets the win, right? We've seen that in the past with the 500 with, Michael McDowell, Ricky Stenhouse, guys like that. You know, you can either have a fluky team win or, one of the power 3, as it were, with like Hendrick winning the last 2 with William Byron. So I think people are happy about it. Reddick's a likable guy. He's got some personality to him. He's a fun one. And so, you can't hurt when you get Michael Jordan in there as well.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, like, who would be like is there a best winner? Like, I don't really buy that stuff a lot. Bubba Wallace winning with Chase Elliott had a shot. Like, does that boost NASCAR if Chase Elliott wins? I don't know. I think people ask the same thing about Super Bowl champs and stuff. Is it better if Buffalo wins? Like, I don't know. It's a freaking Super Bowl. Who gives a damn? Like, so I don't really look at it that lens, but I'm not saying other people don't. So what do you think? If Chase Elliott had won, would it have been a better story for NASCAR?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I've always been miffed by the whole him being the most popular driver thing when he has some of the least personality in the entire garage, at least as far as what he outwardly shows. Like, he keeps it so monotone and steady. It's like, why are you excited about this guy when he wins? Is it because his last name is Elliott and his dad was awesome, Phil?
Of course,
from Dawsonville? Sure. But at least like with Dale Jr., you got some personality out of it, right? Being that next guy in the lineage for the Earnhardt family. But I don't know how much different it would have made a difference for it to have been Chase Elliott instead of Tyler Reddick from a winner standpoint. I said it in my report last night on Action Sports Jax Primetime. It's like, no matter who wins, it's the exciting win story. They won the Daytona 500. It's going to be exciting for that group no matter what. But really, with 2311 winning, it happens at such an interesting time. If anyone's been following this offseason, 2311 has been right in the middle of this entire offseason, starting with the big court case back in December. Obviously, it goes to a settlement, but look, they won. 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, you can't forget about them, who, by the way, won the truck race on Friday. Somebody pointed it out on social media that the 3 entities most involved with the offseason legal dispute all won this weekend at Daytona, where you had Front Row Motorsports, who was the co-defendants with 2311. They won the truck race. Richard Childress Racing won the Saturday race, the now O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. I'm going to say Xfinity for so long. They won that one, and for those who don't know, they weren't one of the defendants, but Richard Childress was brought up multiple times throughout the course of it because of some inflammatory emails from a former executive of NASCAR who's now gone, largely because of that. And now on Sunday, 2311 goes and gets the win. So I think it was huge for them. And what was really cool is in victory lane, yes, you had Michael Jordan there, but the France family, the patriarch of the France family, came and shook Jordan's hand in victory lane at Daytona. And there's your fake AI image that was sent out as well. So it was pretty cool to see the France family kind of do that and to kind of say, hey, we're moving on, right? Everybody's moving past all the offseason stuff. And yes, somebody popped into AI, give me the Jordan holding the trophy, holding the Larry O'Brien trophy, but make it the Harley J. Earl instead, because nothing says NASCAR like lockers in the back room of a shot. I know. It's so funny. I don't know. But yeah, I did see this one, and we did get a chuckle. We were all in the media room, and when somebody pointed that out. By the way, NASCAR on Foxes who tweeted this out, by the way. So it's kind of like, what?
Oh, did they really?
Sending out this AI.
So they did it.
Now. Yeah.
Wow, they did. That's pretty wild. Stuart Weber with us talking a little Daytona 500, and that is pretty interesting that all three. Maybe that was part of the settlement. Quietly, I don't think so. That all three ended up in victory lane in Daytona. All right, so overall, I mean, anything else coming out of the week that will now register? We obviously did a Road to Victory Lane special. You can see it on YouTube. A lot of the big storylines from the year in terms of the schedule, the chase, everything else. And I think one thing to note, right, is that just because Tyler Reddick won this race doesn't mean he's automatically in the championship. That changes from last year. So he's still got some work to do the rest of the way and trying to be consistent to get, I guess, Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin a chance to win the whole thing at the end of the year. Anything else coming out of yesterday that will be big for a consistent theme, or we could see on Cup Date, still to come on Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network?
That's right. We'll certainly be tracking that new point system throughout the year on the Cup Date. I think that's a big difference, right? Going from that win and in playoff format that they've had the last few years to back to a more traditional chase, where you have 26 races in the regular season. You add up all the points, top 16 at the end of that, stay alive, and then compete over 10 races to see who the champion is, which is what they instituted that in 2004. And the funny thing is, they had it for about 11 years. And then they kind of said, well, Jimmy Johnson just keeps winning this.
Yeah.
And so they said, let's change it up and let's do something different. He ended up winning the new format as well, also, in addition to the 6. But he won 5 in a row with that chase format. So they got to the point where they're like, is this too, same ho-hum every single year? No, Jimmy Johnson just dominated. He was the best racer with the best team at the time. And look, that's how you create dynasties and big names and excitement in a sport, is by having a consistent, really good driver or team or whatever that keeps winning championships. That's why we like dynasties, other than the Patriots.
Very true. I don't know if I like dynasties at all. But yeah, fair enough to him. And now they're back, obviously.
Well, you want the best drivers and the best teams to win, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would think. I think that does help. You create stars that way, especially in this sport, right? That's
which
not
is what NASCAR
loaded
has
with
needed.
it. They do
needed stars.
To me, that's the biggest void of NASCAR. That's the biggest thing going right now. Is you just don't you don't know Tyler Reddick if you're an average fan, right? You don't know probably 30 of the 41 drivers in the field you really don't have familiarity with. You might have heard their name or something, but you really don't know much about them.
Yeah, I looked at the starting lineups. I think I just saw the Twitter, and I think I knew 14 of them.
Yeah.
It was 14 or
might
16
know more presidents.
I do. I actually wrote them out a little bit ago, and I got I think I got 28 here.
There you go.
I was screaming at the TV earlier, by the way.
I know you probably were. That's fine.
No one was saying FDR. I was just yelling at the TV. Fine. It's okay.
Did you know who was on the $50 bill?
But yeah,
no doubt.
The 50. That's Grant, right?
Yeah. Well, you saw the damn segment. Now, of course, you do.
I didn't see that part. Did you do that afterwards?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we were just talking about it. So yeah.
Okay. I missed that part. Sorry.
We don't know who's on the 50 because of Venmo anymore. That's the point.
Yeah, you love that Venmo. To get back to that stars point with NASCAR, I'm in a weird position, right? Because I know all of them. I'm watching it every single week, and I'm even watching it more than a normal fan is, because I'm objectively covering it while also enjoying it as a fan as well. But creating stars is so important, and a lot of that comes from personality, I think. Where just this last decade, everything's been so toned down, and everyone's kind of it hasn't been great. But now you get some guys that pop up, and you can enjoy it. And I will say that the NASCAR social media team has done a great job this last year and a half of really ramping that up as well. If you've seen any of the videos they're putting out, are trying to showcase what some of these guys are all about. Now, they don't have to go all full Cletus McFarland on you and be that over the top character who is red, white, and blue, praise raise hell, praise Dale all the time. But you certainly want some guys that you would want to talk to or want to have a beer with, and not not just have to be like, okay, well, I guess he's going to be the winner this week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's what they're trying to find, and that just might take time. I mean, we could have 6 stars emerge out of this next run. It just might take a little time to make it happen. All right, Weber, appreciate you stopping by. I hope you had fun at Daytona, and glad you don't have to cover a Monday side of it. Well, you do have a Monday second day story basically coming up. More Michael Jordan angled tonight on Action Sports Shacks.
Yeah, we'll delve into that here, and then as you mentioned on the Cup date, look, our coverage continues throughout the calendar year. We keep that going beyond just Daytona. So got some good one-on-one interviews lined up that'll be coming up with drivers over the next few weeks and months, and we'll hear the latest from in the Cup Series. Keep you up to date on how those new point standings are going, where they're going next, what the highlights look like. We got it all covered on the Cup date. So. Excited about that. This is fun for me. Going to the track is always fun for me because, that's where I grew up going every single year as a kid. We went to the races at Daytona. So, for me, that's one of those things that reconnects me to my youth and sports fandom, where we now live in a world where, as covering sports, we're a little bit apart from that, right? But every time I go to that track, it helps kind of reconnect me to that fan part that I've lost in other sports. So honestly, I just love every year when we get that opportunity to go there. And to reply to the chat, Cletus is definitely an outlier. His real name is Garrett Mitchell. But I will say, look, not many people are trying to promote the sport of NASCAR and trying to do things outside the box. And Garrett Mitchell, albeit what might have started as a joke with the whole Cletus thing, is actually doing that a little bit. So hey, if it gets more eyeballs on NASCAR, great. Would love it if he didn't go and wreck right away in like the first 10 laps of his truck debut, but is what it is.
That doesn't help. All right, Weber, we'll talk to you a little bit, and we'll see you tonight with Action Sports Jacks. Don't forget Cup Date with Stuart Weber, also Fleet and Footy on Thursday here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Republic Services recycled headlines of the day. Good time to get to them right now. RecyclingSimplified.com. Obviously, Tyler Reddick is a Daytona 500 winner. Some other things happening. If you're just checking in today, DJ Dallas, running back. Also, Matt Dickerson, defensive tackle, re-signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Big news out of Miami. They're like dumping their team right now. It feels like Bradley Chubb has been released. Tyreek Hill has been released by the Miami Dolphins. So a lot of headlines in that capacity. The other big headline for me and maybe us with Hamby as college baseball season underway. And we were talking about this a little bit later on last week. College baseball feels so much bigger. And I don't know, it's usually a follow the money thing. I don't think that's the case.
Oh, I saw y'all talking about that on Friday. I would have loved to hear. I meant to go back. Why do you think it's bigger now than ever?
Oh, well, I think I think it's just reality. I mean, look at the crowds, right? I saw someone like did they say Rio Grande or Rio Grande, or one of them's Rio Grande, it's Division III, and one's Rio Grande.
Yeah.
So I think somebody said they got 5,800 people at their game.
Wow.
And I don't even know where it is. I think, is it in Texas or something?
Probably.
And so I think part of it, man, is what we were talking about is part of it. First of all, I think the depth of player is so good. I think right now you're getting really good players in college baseball. Used to be they would get drafted. There's 20 rounds of the draft. There's guys that I just want to go pro. Well, now there's not 20 rounds of the draft.
Right.
Or wait, maybe there is 20 rounds.
No, there is 20 now, where it
There
used to be 60.
Like 60. And for 1 year, there was 5 rounds of the draft, I think, coming out of the pandemic instead of the 20. So you're not getting as many guys drafted. And if you get drafted in the 13th round, you're like, eh. And by the way, if you get drafted in the 13th round, you might be able to make more money going to play college baseball at Florida State. So the money part of it, the experiential part of this now, and people want to go play college baseball. I said this, Brady Harris, who is a first or second round pick potentially out of Trinity Christian coming out of high school, most likely will say, and my guess is, I don't know, the money will be a factor here, but I think if he had a preference and money was the same or similar, he would say, I want to go play at Florida, play in the SEC, play in Omaha, play in those. Like, that is enticing.
Yeah.
It's way better than playing minor league baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the sport has got so good. I think there are just so many kids now that can play the game. And now we don't have enough pitching, and all you got to do is look at scores. Virginia scored 56 runs this weekend in 2 games against Wagner. There's not enough pitching. If you go look at Division II baseball, the guys are hitting the hell out of the ball. I mean, I really feel like some things feels like you could put the ball on a tee and not hit with the way some of these guys are hitting. But so the hitting's either really good and that's gotten good. The bats are crazy too. We know that. Ball flies, all this stuff, but also the depth of pitching just isn't there. But the front line pitching at the biggest level is really kind of cool to see. Guys are throwing 96, 98, 100. I mean, it's really good stuff.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to get a guy like Skeens, who's a star in LSU, but also going to be a star in the big leagues, and he is. So you can see that path now. Used to be Skeens would get drafted out of high school. You don't see him for 5 or 6 years.
Right.
Now you see him a year and a half, 2 years later, maybe, in the big leagues.
Yeah, I mean, Crochet was, that was helped by the pandemic, but that was literally 1 calendar year later from Tennessee to pitching for the White Sox.
And Tennessee's had a couple of those guys.
Yeah, they have.
The Burns kid, I think.
Doyle,
and
the right-hander who's now with the Angels, who was like the 105 kid.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I think it's Doyle.
So anyway, all those reasons, Hamby. That's to me the reasons. But what's wild to me is I think, to go back to that conversation just for a small bit, we saw I saw this like report from Alabama where they made $125 million or something in football.
Broke it down.
And they broke it down.
Yeah.
And the baseball one, they spent like $6 million and they brought in like $3.25 million or something.
Right.
So it was a loss leader for them. But they're still like, the locker rooms are unbelievable and they're paying the coach $2 million. And so why is that? Even though they're getting these unbelievable crowds, why is it losing money? And I don't know if it's losing money across the board, but again, you can go revisit that conversation. I think the wild thing is it just hit home again as it started, that if you do like it, one of the reasons I think it's cool is because it never stops. There were 1 million games that you could watch this weekend, and especially for like my family, you like baseball and softball, all day long. Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and probably today, it's like you can watch games. I mean, Steph's sitting there watching all these softball games. And now some of this, we know so many guys out of Jacksonville that you're also checking in on, which I also think is pretty cool because we know we produce a lot of really good baseball players, and they're playing at all these different levels. And so you check in, and we're in that window from a family standpoint that, like, I and even Kaylee played with a lot of these people or played against a lot of these people because we're in that age group range. So there's so many different reasons, but I think we like March Madness, and I might have said this with you on the show or not, but March Madness, we love the first 2 weeks because there's always something to watch.
Yeah.
Like that's the best part of the tournament.
Right.
Because there's 16 games on each day.
Yeah.
And we love that, I think, as fans. We always want something, right? We want something to watch and flip back and forth. That's why we like college football bowl season, because there's at least something to do. And college baseball, man, they have that. And because there's so many of these games now being televised in some capacity, we have video of all these crazy things going on.
Yeah,
stuff that you haven't seen. From the Indiana kid with the yips.
Here are your top 3.
Okay, well, give me what you got.
Okay, so number 3 is the Baylor dude who hit 3 grand slams in one day.
3 grand slams in one day. 10 years ago, we would have probably been like a footnote in a newspaper.
Right.
And now we can see that guy like, what the hell? Holy cow, right?
I mean, it is Baylor. So I feel like it probably would have made the top
Baylor baseball
Sports Center top 10.
Maybe.
And it's funny as the ESPN account says, hits 3 grand slams and accounts for 12 RBIs, as if it's like 2 separate things.
Yeah. Now, if you told me you got 14 RBIs in the game, that would have been
different.
Worthy, right?
Right. That's different. So that was that. And to see, all 3 swings is pretty cool. 2, for a terrible reason, is the Seton Hall kid hits a huge homer, and then it pans over to him, and he's on the ground, and you see his replay, and he looks back at his dugout, and his ankle just done.
I mean, think about the Gordon Hayward.
It's the worst.
It's that kind of injury. Now, did you know, because I did not, the kid, the broadcast says, oh, if he doesn't score, it's not going to count. Right?
Yeah, he has to.
No. Yeah, we learned something. I thought so too. I was like, oh, that kid's right. Yeah, you got to score. Is he going to crawl around the bases? Well, apparently, and we dug deeper on it, and you can pinch run for a guy in that situation and now he's got to touch all the bases.
Right.
So the home run actually did count. Actually, I checked it with Fran Delaney, too. I said, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I thought the same thing that young man said in the broadcast, that if you don't cross home plate, it doesn't count. Right. Well, you can actually put a pinch runner in that situation, which, by the way, makes a whole lot of sense. Apparently, it's a somewhat of a new rule, and I've never seen the situation. Do you recall one?
I've never seen somebody get hurt mid-trot.
I've seen guys miss the base and get called out.
Which is
I've
deserving.
seen, who was it? Was it the Angels guy? Morales?
Kendrys.
Who jumped on home plate?
Yep, Kendrys Morales.
And ACL'd it or something?
Yeah, that would be a good one for the reference game. Got that one. Angels and Royals.
Yeah. So, but that Seton Hall moment was amazing. But what I like about listen, I believe I know a decent amount about baseball. Yeah, I learned something in that moment, So that's what's cool about some of because you're seeing some of the wackiest crap ever.
Yeah. And speaking of wacky, that's number one. That's the Indiana UNC game. Indiana's up 3-1 with the bases juiced, 2 outs. Routine of all routine ground balls to the second baseman, has probably a 40-foot throw and spikes it. I mean, this is like Yips in the dictionary. Has to been 2-run score, tie the game.
I don't even like looking at this stuff because I got myself a second baseman. And I don't even ever want that to come across my anybody's mind. So I don't even like talking about it. But it's so hard to watch that. I mean, it's a Division I player. Okay, this guy's a good player.
Yeah,
he can play the game. And I don't know if he has the yips or if something happened on that throw. I don't know if he came out of the game after that. I checked. One thing I went and checked, I was like, were there 3 errors in the game? And he had errors going into that moment. And there wasn't. It was like a 3-error game total. But it wasn't like he had 3 ground balls hit to him and he couldn't throw it. So, I mean, why did that happen? Why? How does that happen? And I don't know the story yet, and I feel so bad. And see, that's the bad part of it. To me, that's the bad part of all these games being out there. Because that kid's just going to get roasted.
Well, here's the good part about it, and maybe this is just my timeline. I looked up Indiana baseball, and I'm seeing the video, but I can't find this kid's name.
Oh, well, they end up losing the game.
Yeah. Trying to find
It's funny, Glenn says Steve Sachs, and Steve Sachs come to mind. Does anybody come to mind when you talk about the Yips?
I think of all the I think of Lester, and that wasn't
Good
even
one.
Yips, but that was Yips to first base.
Couldn't throw to first
literally
base.
could not pick off.
Rick Ankiel.
Yes, and
you remember that name?
Boy, yeah, he was brave.
The name for us is Steve Sachs. That was kind of even almost before it wasn't. I was just a kid. But the real one for me, if you say that, the one that comes to mind is Chuck Knobloch.
Oh yeah.
Chuck Knobloch for the Yankees. By the time he had played for the Yankees, I think it was, he got it. And did Dale Murphy get the Yips? I don't remember that one. But, it's just a horrible thing. It just doesn't make some sense to me in my mind. The whole thing doesn't make sense, but then it does. Because sports is so, but it reminds me every time I think of that, it's like me chipping right now. I just, and I'm not like a world-class player. I never was, but I used to be pretty good at chipping. And now I'm not. I'm just not. I don't like to do it. And so the hurdle there, and again, I don't practice it enough or anything else, but I can almost somewhat relate to it. But at least in my own little world. But it's hard to fathom, and I just feel for that young man. Hopefully, in a way, I almost root for it to be an arm injury instead of the yips. I think it's easier to handle an arm injury than a yips.
No doubt.
I really do. So we'll see what takes place there. Anything else?
Those are the 3 big ones.
Did you did see the Virginia game, right? They scored 56 runs in 2 games.
Yeah, against Wagner.
25 and 31.
I saw who was it, Brent, in softball that had it was 34-zip.
Oh, really? Someone won 34-zip.
34-0.
I didn't see that. I saw Georgia Tech scored 27 runs. There was a funny one.
Oh, it was Oklahoma against UTEP.
Oh, Oklahoma against UTEP scored
34-0.
I did not see that. Wow. Yeah, that's wild.
What do you tell your team?
Yeah, don't play them again?
I guess it's something.
I guess Oklahoma would have that capability in softball. There could be such a mismatch.
This was a much lesser story, but I saw that you put it out, and it pissed me off. It's Georgia in the game at freaking third base.
Oh, yeah.
Trey Phelps is a really good hitter, just misses a game-tying homer, 6-3 ball game with guys on first and second with 1 out. Guy on second gets caught at the warning track, and the guy on second tags up, and they throw him out of third end.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice throw. It's a nice play. It's like, what are you doing? You're down 3 runs, dude. Like, what's even the point? And that's where, like, my mind, again, we see a lot of good stuff. And most of the stuff that you see, and now that it's out there, is home runs or really nice plays. I mean, the amount of plays that are made on a daily basis in college baseball, amazing. What they don't show you is the day in, day out, usually bad stuff, unless it's, like, really bad. Yeah. And this is where I kind of come back with, like, dude, do you know how to play the game? Right? And you would as a coach. And if you really appreciate the game, it's like, what are you doing? Or now, in fairness, that kid might be really good at playing the game, and he might have just had a bad moment. Like, that happens too. Like, he might just had a bad, he might, I'm walking to third here, you know? It just didn't make any sense, and you can't get thrown out. So, but, I mean, your team's going to make some mistakes that it's, like, out of character.
Right.
And so there's that too. So I don't want to just label something like, oh, my gosh, but it's like, really, what was he thinking? But you see it all. And when you have so many games, I mean, how many baseball games were played this weekend in college baseball?
Hundreds.
That were, like, televised. Hundreds of games.
Not televised on ESPN, that's for sure.
Well, the thing I say about ESPN, I saw this going around, is ESPN, like, carries a lot of these games. Like the ESPN Plus and Flow Sports, I think, does it, which I can't believe really people pay $30 a month for Flow Sports. That's an expensive buy-in. Now, if my kid was playing, I'm sure I would. But ESPN doesn't make it easy. You would think they're as big as it's become, and as much of it's a content producer for them to fill time and other things, their app would be way more accessible to the college baseball. And I saw a lot of people complaining about it, and maybe softball too. But, like, the lack of box scores, like, why can't they funnel that in by now? You got to still go on, like, the team's website to see most box scores.
Right.
I feel like ESPN could make it a lot easier, and we'll see. Now, James says a good. First of all, I want to get the local stuff in. JU sweeps Rhodey. No problem with the Rhodey Rams at all. And 4 wins for JU. The Derek Bermudez kid, who I think is a new guy for JU, hit a grand slam and a 2-run homer. He had 7 ribbies yesterday. He had 13 ribbies to open the weekend. That's a hell of a start. Tough to keep that pace. UNF, really what I would call a bad loss to Sacred Heart to open the season, but bounces back in a big way by scoring 28 runs. And got over to UNF yesterday to see the new digs as it's done. And they did a hell of a job to get it ready. And we're going to obviously talk a little bit about talent talk, but really looks good. Really looks fantastic. So excited to see about the next phases of the project at UNF. So a good start overall for the opening weekend. Florida State comes to town tomorrow. And you got a lot of locals on Florida State as well. And that's a really good baseball team, and they'll play at JU tomorrow night. So if you get a chance to go that. Florida softball will be at UNF on Wednesday. That could be a good game. UNF softball team 11-1 start with a win over Auburn. So they keep winning. And we're going to have Coach Jeff Conrad on Talent Talk here in a little bit today at 2 o'clock. But James was mentioned LSU, Indiana, UCF, and Notre Dame at VyStar this weekend. Oh, so that Indiana kid's coming here.
I'll be there Sunday.
But how about the national champs are here? They do a horrible job advertising that event. Like, horrible. I have no idea. I didn't even know it until somebody told me the other day that it was this weekend. And then James brings it up. It's not on my radar at all. And it kind of should be. If you like college baseball, you've got 4 good teams, and that will be a good tournament. I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
And those tournaments are interesting. They're kind of like I think they call them the MTE basketball tournaments, right? These neutral site events. And it's put on by someone outside of Jacksonville. This isn't put on, I think, by the city of Jacksonville. But they have these now. They had it in Puerto Rico. They had it in Arizona this weekend. They got this one in Jacksonville. Somebody's making money somewhere off these things to be able to make it happen. But I actually reached out to those guys, I think, at one point, and just curious if we could stream those games maybe on the network. Because I don't know if they stream on ESPN or how that works. And I really don't know where you find them. Maybe they are somewhere. But they never got back. But they also don't market the event very well. Really weird. Because if you got the national champs coming to Jacksonville, you'd think that would be pretty worthy of trying to get butts in the seat at the baseball grounds, home of the Jumbo Shrimp this weekend.
Yeah, I think I'll be there on Sunday.
Are you going to go?
I'm going to go.
Okay, good.
Catch UCF.
So you knew about it.
I did. I wouldn't have if I wasn't invited, but yeah.
Oh, somebody told you about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody, I forget who said it to me. They were going on Sunday as well to go check out some games, and so they knew about it. I don't know if I'll make it over or not, but it's a good event if you like college baseball. And what I always think, but think about what's in town if you have a youth baseball team,
mm-hmm.
or if you have a high school baseball team for that matter. You got Florida State at JU Tuesday night, and then you got teams like UCF and LSU and coming in this weekend.
Yeah.
Great exposure for kids to grow the game of college baseball, want to play the game of college baseball, have dreams to play in the college baseball at that level. So that part's pretty cool. All right. Wow, it's already 12:36. Guess we got to take a break. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll fill you in on anything else going on. What did we miss? Oh, I wanted Florida Gators hit some threes. Talk a little college hoops. Coach Driscoll gets a chance to coach. It's an interesting deal with Driscoll. I texted him a little bit last night, but I wondered, that whole situation's fascinating. He obviously goes to Kansas State on his own accord.
But that's his boy.
And that's his guy.
Yeah.
And now has a chance, like even that, it's like, how do you feel? Do you want to coach that? That's your guy. He just got fired. And maybe like that could be a situation too. If it sounds like they're trying to fire him with cause. And so they don't have to pay him like $18 million,
Well,
I think is what the deal is there.
Soundbite that they want to fire him for.
And was it much? Did you think it was a big deal?
I mean, I thought it was very I thought it was rare, not fireable.
Okay. So you can play it when you come back?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. We will do that when we come back here on the Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. And happy President's Day.
You better be enjoying that off day if you're off.
Am I supposed to name those guys?
Please do.
Nice stash. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League, known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet's truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville. Whether you're looking for a side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, or scooter, Honda has what you need.
The Honda Talon. Ultimate performance meets family-friendly fun. Prices starting at $363 a month. Or the sporty Honda CBR 650 starting at an affordable $204 a month.
Stop by and choose your adventure from a full line of Honda products. Only at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Family owned and operated since 1983.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay & Associates at divorcemenonly.com.
CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing is taking their 75-plus years of expertise and expanding to CGC Home Services. Water treatment and plumbing is still a big part of what they do, and now they can do even more for you. Home services like kitchen and bathroom remodeling, showers, sinks, faucets, toilet repair, backflow testing, and the list keeps going. Find all they can do at cgchomeservices.com or give them a call, 904-298-7052. It's a new look and a new name with the same expertise. They've been serving homes like yours since 1946. CGC Home Services, right here in Jacksonville off St. John's Bluff Road, 904-298-7052. And visit cgchomeservices.com. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'm gonna honor Christ like I always do. Blessed to do this, but this was embarrassing. These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year. I'm embarrassed for the university. I'm embarrassed for our fans, our student section. You know, it is just ridiculous. We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we will get this thing right. I have no answer, no words. So y'all got two questions. So whoever want to ask two questions, I'll answer them to the best of my ability right now. But right now, like I'm like pissed, and this is.
So that's Coach Tang, and that was after a 30-point home loss to Cincinnati.
Yeah, they've really struggled. So Jerome Tang.
But that's why they're firing him for cause. Because he said, I guess, embarrassment of the university, because he said, you know, these guys aren't going to be back next year. They don't deserve to wear the uniform. That's a walk in the park for football guys. Ain't it? I mean, I think it was a little bit rare to hear that. Like, hey, they're not going to be back next year. I don't know if I've necessarily heard that sentence or that kind of, but the overall message, and seriously?
Yeah, like K-State has no chance of firing this guy with cause.
Yeah, he's going to win that one.
I mean, what? Yeah, I guess he's due $18 million is what I saw or heard. I haven't read a lot on this one, but I mean, they've really struggled. They're 1-11. And it just hasn't gone that way. They were in a little bit of, they knew they were in an interesting spot, and I think that's part of the reason him and Matthew Driscoll are really tight.
Yeah.
Really tight. I think he told us that and shared that as one of his best friends. And I think he was going there to try to help out, you know, and try to get it right. And that was in part some of the reason and motivation, not to put words in Matthew Driscoll's, but that was my interpretation of it. So now he takes over for him. is the story out of K-State, right? I mean, I think he's going to be the interim guy, and it just hasn't gone well. I mean, they're 1-11. So bottom line is they were firing Tang and the staff, most likely.
Right.
Based on performance. This is the opportunity that they use to kind of say with cause. Like that dude, like to your point, that's so funny. Like that is nothing. I mean, if you watch college sports for any amount of time, that is mild. Like I can't find anything in there that was like, I was waiting for something. I was like, wait, I heard this part.
That was the part. I mean, that was it.
What is it? Like, you're even guessing. You're guessing, like, what is it that they said? The fact that you embarrassed the university? The fact that you might not be in these uniforms next year?
Right. That's. I mean, that's what I'm.
Is that like, which one is it? I don't know. I don't even know. That's like how benign it was. And in fairness, like, I think these guys are in tough spots sometimes emotionally. And I think he kind of led on. He's like, listen, I'll try to do my best to answer 2 questions. But I'm not in like a headspace to be doing this. And so I thought there was still something more coming, that he was like, oh, he should not have said this. There's not one thing in there that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said it. So they're never going to win that. But it was an opportunity that they seized to make the change. And I don't know if I feel good or bad for Matthew Driscoll, quite frankly. I mean, he's in a spot where obviously he goes there, tries to help it out, and now that will change. And my guess is he ends up coming back here. Is this the end of it for Matthew Driscoll? Does he end up coaching somewhere else? Is he, I don't know. Again, this is really fresh, and I haven't talked to him to that degree. I just kind of wished him luck last night.
Yeah.
Had a brief text exchange.
Because you would assume that K-State was going to bring in a whole new staff next year.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Like that, they're done. But now he'll get paid. I'm assuming he was under like a 2-year contract, and I think like $500,000 a year or something like that. So I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it is what it is. It's part of the business. But it's a weird spot to be in. It's if you're really tight. Now you got this stuff circulating. And what do they have? 4 more games to go?
I think it's 6.
Oh, is it that much?
I think it's 6.
Yeah, I guess they go on longer than like the Austen and stuff. So, hey, he's got
$18 million.
What is it?
$18 million.
That's the buyout, right? That's how much was left. Wow, that's a lot.
I don't know who this guy is personally. Like I don't know
Jerome
Tang.
Well, they know each other really well from, I think, the Baylor days.
Okay, no, but my question is, like, how long has he been there? Do we know? Or, like, is he a big – I know he's not a giant name.
He's not a giant name. I think you're right. But it's also Kansas State, right? But I think they thought he was up and coming, like, thought he could be a guy.
$18 million is a ton for college basketball.
He got
paid.
Not? It seems like, I don't know the length of the contract, some of the contracts in college basketball can be pretty lengthy. They're not just like 3-year deals. It might have been an 8-year contract. And so if it's 8 years and $35 million or whatever it is.
He was making $3.6 million a year.
Yeah. So, but I don't know when do you know when he signed that deal?
It looks like he signed a 7-year extension in September of 23.
Okay.
So
he's got 5 years left on it or something. 4 years left.
Yeah, it's signed through 2030. So 5 seasons left.
So
3.6 per.
It's pretty wild. I'm going to take a look at this from Driscoll's perspective only. Again, he's got the friend. It's got to be an awkward situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I'll just look at it from a kind of a selfish point of view because I know he won't. Like, well, get a chance to go coach half a dozen Big 12 games. Be the guy on the sideline.
Right.
Kind of cool. Like, and it might be the end of it for Matthew Driscoll. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. This might have been the last stop. I mean, he was willing to get out of the head coaching ranks to be an assistant at the back end of his coaching career. I don't think Driscoll's coaching until he's 75 years old, at least like actively. Maybe he's helping out somewhere doing that, but it does. I don't think he is. So this could be it. He goes out potentially as who do they have? Do you know? Who's going to coach again? K-State. Who they play down the rest of the season. So it could be fun for Driscoll to, show off his chops a little bit. He's a good guy to try to rescue this situation. We know that. What's that?
Baylor tomorrow.
Oh, they play Baylor. Wow, what a moment for Driscoll, really. Like, seriously. He will not look at it this way. He won't view it this way. He won't talk about it this way. But we can for him. I mean, this is like...
That's pretty cool.
It's a really cool moment. I mean, that's his guy at Baylor. and that's where he, was and all that, and he's going to get the chance to coach against. Now, I continue to assume that is. I heard last night he was going to be the guy. I don't know if they've officially said who's the interim or not, but
I don't see. They also have Texas Tech and Kansas.
Is Kansas on the road or home?
Road.
You know what's funny? I think that Kansas game, I actually looked because I think I've told this story before. Ty likes the big crowds, and I want to go to see a game at Kansas, and I looked into going that Kansas State-Kansas game.
Did you?
And it just doesn't fit. Ty's playing ball in the weekend, whatever. So it just doesn't fit. But I thought that would be pretty cool. And how crazy is that he's going to coach in that game?
Yeah.
Against Kansas. So, I think you would never get coach to say this right now. But my point in this conversation is 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, maybe 6 months down the road, this be a cool few weeks.
Yeah.
To get this opportunity. And he's the right guy to try to bring this together at a really awkward time. That's always difficult. And then maybe you go win a game. Maybe you go steal a game at Kansas or something, and that's pretty cool to add to the resume.
No doubt.
And tell the grandkids about on the front porch someday or on the beach here in Jacksonville when it's all said and done. So we'll see what happens with Matthew Driscoll. As for Florida Gators, man, they're starting to hit three-pointers. So I've been saying this for weeks now about the Gators. I think the Gators are really good. I think they have been really good. I think people are a little bit sleeping on them. I think even Gator fans, I might have been ahead of some Gator fans at how much I was in love with the Gators and their basketball team because they were so concerned about the guard play, and we get so wrapped up in guard play. Well, guess what? The guard play is coming around. The guard play is playing pretty well. They hit 10 threes the other day. I don't know how many they had yesterday, but Lee had a nice game. I think he had 20. And if they hit threes, I just don't know there's a team that can beat them. And again, we're not talking about 12, 15 threes. We're talking about 7 or 8 threes a game.
Yeah.
Because it was that bad for a bit. And right now, the only loss in the last month for Florida is that Auburn game where they just didn't play well in the second half. They're really playing good basketball. I don't know if the rankings come out yet. My guess is they're still not a top 10 team. And this is why polls are stupid. And the reality is there's not enough movement in the top 12.
They hit 10 threes against Kentucky.
They did. So they hit 10 back-to-back games, I think it is.
Beat them by 9.
There's not enough movement in the top 10 or 12 to get Florida into the top 10.
Yeah.
But the reality is they are by far a top 10 team right now. I think they're a top 5 team in America right now, the way they're playing. And they're going to be ranked like 12th, which is just funny how that works.
They're 14 in the AP.
Oh, is that a fresh one that come out today?
No, it's not fresh.
That was from last week. Yeah, I wonder where they go. But Steven, I'm telling you what, usually I'll bet against a repeat, hands down. I think the Gators have a legit chance to do it again. 05-06, and now here again. I think they really have a chance to do it. And they were going to have to get this kind of play out of Lee and Boogie Flan and all those guys. Like, at times, they don't need it consistently. They just need it at the right time.
Continue to hit.
But I really think they've got a great chance to win it all. Now, there's a lot of tough. There's depth in this year's tournament. That's the other problem. Like, it might be an Elite 8 game, a Final 4 game, and a championship game to get through like a really good team.
Right.
Not like a team that you're favored by 8.5 points over. So there is that element that I think is going to be pretty tricky for all the top teams that you're going to have to get through some mud. That's not always the case. There might be like 4 teams that play that are really, really good. And so as long as you don't play a bad game, you could still win with your B-plus game. I think they're going to have to play like A-level basketball, at least from the Elite 8 on. Probably okay early on to get away with some B-level stuff. So will they play that at the right time? That's going to determine whether they can win it. But they definitely have a chance to win it. One other thought on Florida this week. Did you see and what a sports weekend at the University of Florida. Again, I'm not even a Gator fan, but what a sports weekend. Friday night, they had gymnastics, baseball, softball, and lacrosse. And I saw the attendance figures. It was 9,200 for gymnastics.
Wow.
Well, they get a lot. It was 7,000 for baseball. It was 2,000 for softball, and it was like 800 for lacrosse. Then on Saturday, they've got baseball and I think softball again. They got the basketball game against Kentucky, which was a sellout over 10,000.
Right.
And then also going on this weekend was like they were hosting a golf tournament too, like a pretty heady golf tournament. Some of the best teams in the country. What a weekend.
There you go.
At the University of Florida. And if you're a Gator fan, you lived close, like you could see anything you wanted to see.
Yeah.
What a potpourri of things. Pretty cool. If you're not in charge of logistics. That must be a mess. Give you a little insight. UNF tells us about that sometimes, man, when there's a lot going on. That's a lot of work being done behind the scenes. We're going to talk some UNF when we come back in about an hour here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Talent Talk moves to Monday. It's 2 o'clock. Jeff Conrad from softball, Bobby Kennan from basketball. We'll talk to him maybe a little bit about Matthew Driscoll's situation as well. We're even talking a little women's tennis today on the show, amongst other things, with the UNF Ospreys. Kind of a gloomy day in Jacksonville. Hope you have a good rest of your Monday, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll do it again tomorrow from High School Sports Spring Media Day. Will be the backdrop on Tuesday.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily access Action News Jacks Now using your Roku device. First, launch Roku. Next, use the menu list to scroll down to the search feature. Then, use the remote to enter Action News Jacks into the search bar, and then click Action News Jacks thumbnail. Once you see this screen, go ahead and select Add App. Wait a few seconds for it to install. Once it finishes installing, press the star button on your remote and click on Move App or Move App to the top. Finally, select the app back on your home screen to open it. Now you can watch all the great content on Action News Jacks Now. Live daily breaking news.
We have breaking news happening right now in Clay County.
First alert weather and traffic.
Looks like we have a tornado warning. Let's take a look at that.
Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
We've got the Brent and Austen Show daily, live sporting events, and long-form interviews you can't see anywhere else.
And shows like Law and Crime and much more. And that's how you access Action News Jacks Now using your Roku device.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also